What's going on, everybody in Chicago, and welcome to another edition of the Bare Minimum, guys. My name is Brandon, as always, hosting here on Thursday night, joined by another host, Four Star Chicago Sports, Sean Lugo. Sean, what's going on?
Oh, living the dream on a Thursday night, baby. And we just got a new subscriber to the channel, Chris E. Thank you so much. It just popped up on my phone. Really appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, for those who normally watch this show, guys, Sean's probably not a familiar face. He is a host on Wednesday night. He is also on the House Hall Hangover on Monday nights, and he does his Cubs show, the Northside Nine, on Saturday. But he is filling in for Dustin, guys. Dustin just had himself a baby. So God bless him and his family. And yeah, he'll be taking a couple weeks off. He should probably be back next week, I'm guessing. But Sean, in the meantime, I do more than appreciate you hanging out with me on this Thursday night.
Anytime, bro.
Yeah. So guys, we are going to dive right into it. We're going to talk tonight about the Bears' possibilities of winning the NFC North. We're going to break that down for you, see where we think each of the four teams might finish in this division. And we're going to talk about the avenues that Caleb Williams, I don't know, should say, thought might be possible prior to this draft, and the direction his father was kind of leading him before the draft, guys. All of that and more after this. Alrighty, Sean, let's get into the Caleb Williams stuff first. So obviously, there's going to be a book released in September. You can pre-order it, guys. The author's name is what, Sean?
Seth Wickersham.
Yeah, Seth Wickersham. He is an ESPN writer, guys. He is also an established author already. But there is a little bit of this book kind of being leaked, and Seth Wickersham does write about Caleb Williams and his father's efforts to avoid being drafted by the Chicago Bears. I want to talk a little bit first about why, a quarterback with such leverage like Caleb Williams and with such prestige really would do so, and then how much influence really his father had in this decision. And it sounds to me, Sean, I don't know, based on what I read, it sounds like his father was kind of coercing all this. We know for a fact that Carl, his father, came out and publicly, I think it was on his Twitter, maybe, he said that Chicago is a place that quarterbacks go to die. And I'm going to start off by saying this, Sean. He's not wrong. I mean, you look at the 100-year history of this organization. You had one win a quarterback, but he wasn't really the best quarterback in the NFL by any means, even close to it. And you had a guy in Sid Luckman, who none of us were even alive to watch, who was still known as a pretty good quarterback. But this is long before, the 5,000-yard seasons and the 35-plus touchdowns. So, Sean, I'm going to ask you this. Do you have an issue with Carl Williams stating that Chicago is a place where quarterbacks go to die? And do you think that he's wrong about that?
I don't think that he's wrong about it. I will tell you, I don't like this coming out, and I don't think it was handled correctly by him for his son. You just go in and it sets a bad tone, sets a bad precedent. And I get towards the back half of the snippets and stuff that we were able to read today that was released on ESPN. It did kind of look like Caleb Williams at the end kind of made the right decision and said, "Hey man, this isn't the avenue I want to go." As a matter of fact, we'll get into that in a little bit because he did say that exact thing. We knew coming into this that Carl was going to be a problem because they said he was very involved in what his son was doing, and
He was almost his acting agent prior to the draft.
correct. And it was just a little weird. It's a little weird to hear. And the thing, like, he actually reached out to Archie Manning. Like, he was actually really trying to leverage.
He was exploring every avenue that he could. He was talking to players who had formerly or at least had efforts in doing this. But
And for those, really quick, for those who missed it, it said Williams spoke with Archie Manning, and who helped Eli assert the measure of control over the eventual team he chose in 2024. He also met with labor lawyers and agents even considered whether his son can sign with the United Football League and become an unrestricted free agent in 2025 to be able to pick his own team. It's like
There's a lot to dissect there. So
there is.
First, I'm in agreement with you, man. I don't love this being reported here and now.
No.
And what the thing that bothers me the most about it is Caleb's can't refuted this. I mean, they said that these were lies, basically. I don't know if you remember this, but Colin Coward had Caleb Williams on the show. He reported this, and he
Yeah.
almost had to. He had reported this before, prior to having Caleb on the show, and he almost had to apologize with Caleb on air for starting rumors, if you will, or being a conspiracist. But I don't know how much information he had, but it sounds like his reporting was pretty accurate. I mean, as far as Carl Williams is concerned, this was definitely happening behind the scenes. So I gotta say that, man. I mean, and for all the reporters who were kind of, I don't know, saying this or at least leaking things here and there about this subject, and a lot of Bears fans were like, "Nah, you're just trying to hurt Caleb's character. This is all malicious." I mean, there's clearly some truth to this.
Yeah, and as a fan, and fans like us, diehards who eat, breathe, sleep Bears, this is tough for us to hear. If I'm being honest, the concerns his family had as Bears fans, as you were just touching on, Brandon, all this was completely valid. I mean, last season was a total collapse, and this is what Williams Carl said he felt he wanted to avoid for his son, and then it actually happened. And then he just looked at the past history and said, there's a long history of poor quarterback play. I don't blame him for feeling any other way. But to take the active measures that actually have come out now, that kind of stings me. And I'll tell you, Brandon, this one, and if I hit the right one here, I'm trying to make sure I do. This one right here is the one that stings me the most. It's that at the NFL Combine that year, he met with Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell. The two hit it off, and Caleb Williams began to dream of what it would be like to play for Minnesota. I need to go to the Vikings, he told his father. His father responds, "Let's do it." But both Caleb and Carl knew the trade a divisional rival would be extremely unlikely. Bears GM obviously stood strong, telling Williams they were drafting him no matter what. As a Bears fan, that rips at my heartstrings, dude, to say that this guy knew he was going to the Bears, met with a rival head coach, and we all know what kind of coach KOC is. He's considered one of the best coaches in football. That rips at my heartstrings, man. I'm very happy in a lot of ways that this worked out.
Well, and by all measures, I mean, the Vikings did need a quarterback. By all measures, this was the best place to be drafted. That Minnesota, that is, outside of Chicago, because I thought Chicago actually, with what Ryan Poles was starting to put together here, you had Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Roma Dunze, who wasn't here yet, but I mean, Ryan Poles knew he wanted him. It was one of the two places where I thought a quarterback would thrive best. Obviously Caleb Williams didn't have the offensive line in front of him and did suffer the consequences. But I will say this, Sean, Dustin says it here. He didn't. It's not the same as when Eli Manning was drafted by the Jets. There's no leverage here. You can be as good as any player who's a potential prospect in the NFL draft. If a team's going to draft you, it's going to draft you. You can decide not to play for them, but they're going to draft you. And on the other side of your heart being torn out of your chest, Sean, what does this say about Ryan Poles?
Yeah,
Ryan Poles told Caleb, "Hey, just come over here come talk to me for a little bit. Like, let's have a conversation before you go all in on this or that." And I think he not only lured Caleb Williams here and enticed him enough to want to be a Bear, he sold him on what his plan was moving forward. So, I mean, and I would imagine right now, Caleb Williams feels like everything Ryan Poles told him was true, because now he's got himself a much improved offensive line. They're still adding weapons to this team. And guys, I mean, Caleb Williams might as well have said it in so many damn words. He wanted Ben Johnson to be the coach of this football team.
Sure.
When he was on the podcast with Amon-Ra St. Brown, he said, Amon-Ra asked him, "What would you like in a coach?" And he said, like, "I'd like an offensive minded guy. If I'm being selfish, I'd like an offensive minded guy that can be creative and innovative." And I mean, how many coaches were candidates last offseason that fit the mold? You know what I mean? I think he was literally pointing to Ben Johnson without saying his actual name. So I think that Ryan Poles has done everything that he can to confirm with Caleb Williams that he's a man of his word and that he's putting things together. And I think Caleb Williams is doing everything he can to prove to Ryan Poles that he's the guy who's going to turn this thing around. And Sean, I forget who it was. I think it was Joy Taylor who reported on ESPN when all this was being talked about. Imagine what it would be like to be the quarterback that goes to Chicago and turns this damn thing around.
And when I was going through all this, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was standing there and I'm like, man, Caleb wants to be great. He wants to be known as the Tom Brady, the new Tom Brady, win as many championships as Tom Brady, do this and do that. Wouldn't you want to do that in an historic charter franchise like the Chicago Bears? Like, be the first quarterback, because everything he does is going to be a first here.
Everything he does is going to be the greatest. I mean, like, think about what you just said. You go to New England and do these things. It's like, hey, he's good, but
You're in the shadow.
Brady was better. Yeah, I mean, he can very easily and very quickly become the greatest quarterback that ever played for the Chicago Bears. There's probably fans that would actually tell you that he is today. He still needs to throw the numbers, obviously, but
Yeah.
Caleb is going to take this team to stardom. I believe that, and I believe Ryan Poles knew it. He had conviction in telling Caleb Williams, "You're coming here no matter what. Just believe me when I say it will get better." And it takes two to tango. I mean, both these guys have to do their job in turning this organization around. And I believe that Ryan Poles has, at least this offseason, done as much. And I'm still a firm believer, like I was back in 2021 when this kid was playing for Oklahoma, man. I mean, like, I'm a firm believer that Caleb Williams is the player the Bears need to do so.
Yeah, and to dive a little deeper into this, into the dysfunction of the Chicago Bears, and we heard about this back in last January, Brandon, when he came out. And it started to be reported at times. Williams said he would watch film alone, no instruction, no guidance from coaches. No one tells me what to watch. Caleb Williams told his dad, "I just turn it on." Now there was a report that I heard today that Shane Waldron was actually intimidated by Caleb Williams. And so from the start, everything that his dad was worried about was obviously very valid. And I'll be honest, and this might not be a popular take with you guys, but I think this was going on for a long time. I think this is going on with Nagy and all the way through. I think there's been dysfunction here for a little while. This is why I've always been a defender of Justin Fields. Justin Fields came in with deficits or deficiencies in his quarterback game. Everybody knew it. They were reported on draft day. He holds the ball too long. Coming into the league, he held the ball longer than any quarterback in that draft. They said he should stay in college one more year and work on that. What did the Bears do for him? Nothing. I'm not saying he would have been Tom Brady with coaching. I think he could have been a better quarterback, more prepared in the NFL if he had coaches. With this coming
Well,
out
he certainly would have been a better quarterback if a coach had used him to his abilities.
correct.
If a coach had exploited his strengths instead of trying to force him to be something he wasn't, Sean. That's where Justin Fields was failed the most.
Correct.
Is,
And,
I mean,
and,
this
and
this
where does
kid,
that go, Brandon?
yeah, and from what I read, from what I read about this book coming out, and obviously this is a book that I'm going to read because this book is about quarterbacks, guys, not just Caleb Williams. There's a lot about Drake May in there. There's a lot about some old time quarterbacks in there too. But from what I read, Wickersham makes it sound like Caleb Williams was concerned about Shane Waldron prior to
Yeah.
being drafted to the Bears, which
Yes.
I mean, I was being told by Bears fans this was like such a tremendous hire, and I just remember saying to everybody, why? Why is this guy? I don't buy it. I'm not believing it. I mean, obviously, him being a part, Waldron was set up to fail being a part of Matt Eberflus's staff, but he wasn't any better. Waldron was a bad hire. It's just the same as all the hires the Bears have made prior to this Ben Johnson hire. It's just why Caleb Williams and Carl Williams had some ground to stand on. But I will say this, Sean. You can play your hand, by all means. And Caleb Williams was different, right? He's a different player. He was a different player in the draft.
He's
This
a
was like
different cat
this is the
altogether.
Connor. This is a Connor Bedard, the Wembenyama, the Cooper Flag. This was a sweepstakes player. Everybody wanted him. So there was leverage here, but like I said, it just doesn't get you very far in the NFL anymore. And go to the UFL. I mean, is that a fucking joke?
I
Like,
mean,
there is
and
no way
here,
that works
here.
for that benefits Caleb Williams' career.
All I'm saying is when I read that quote, the first thing that clicked in my brain was how desperate and how far this guy was willing to go to not quarterback the Chicago Bears and the avenues that we're reading today that they actually took. Like everyone can say he had no choice. Bears fans have to gauge how they feel that no matter what they feel or about him right now, he did try. Him and his father did try every avenue to avoid playing football for the Chicago Bears. This isn't no more conjecture. This is an actual fact. These paragraphs that are coming out in September in this book back that up. He did not want to come here.
And in his defense, though, on the other side of things, Sean, Caleb Williams had a decent rookie year. I think to me, he looked like a player who's going to take strides and be your franchise quarterback for years to come. But it was the same shit stew. It always has been, Sean. He got sacked 68 times.
Yeah.
He had 3 separate offensive coordinators. His head coach got fired. Nobody watched tape with the guy. He was right. Carl Williams was right. The organization was ass, just as Caleb Williams expected it to be. And he did eventually, like Dustin states here, he didn't have a choice, but he did accept being a Chicago Bear, and he did embrace the idea of being the guy who can change this organization. And that's what's most important to me, Sean, is if you're Caleb Williams and he does carry himself with a confidence. I said this to you guys when we were talking about Shedeur Sanders. There's some of this in Caleb Williams as well. He believes that he's the man.
Oh, 100%.
If you go to an organization that's suffered for 100 years and hasn't had a player at this position that can lift them up. You go to that organization and you prove to all the doubters, even the Chicago fans who wanted Justin Fields to remain, I will turn this damn thing around. I will. I'll turn it around as long as this guy who's running the show does what he told me he will. And I think Ryan Poles has done just that. And it's pointing in the direction it absolutely needed to. And I would imagine, Sean, that right now, I know the rookie season didn't go as well as you wanted it to, if you're Caleb Williams. Right now, though, it's probably projected where Caleb Williams wanted it to be. Going into his second season, he's gotten more protection. They added more weapons. He's got the coach he wanted. He has the ability. It's in his hands. Kyle kept saying this. We need to eliminate excuses, eliminate excuses. They weren't excuses. They were reasons. They were reasons that he wasn't going to be the best rookie quarterback last year. He was on a team that couldn't protect him. He was on a team that was poorly run. There was no accountability for any of the players. They basically all quit, and I don't even blame them for it. They started making business decisions on this football team after that Washington game. They felt like the coaches let them down. They weren't wrong about that. But this year feels different, and I'm sure it does to Caleb Williams as well. And I would imagine if you ask Caleb today, we know what you said. We know you didn't want to be here. How do you feel about it now? He's all in, man.
And I have a feeling he would say, you know what? When I came into that pre-draft room, Ryan Poles told me this was what was going to happen. So I put my faith in him, and now I believe in him. And, the other thing I take away today, and I watched this, I don't know if you had a chance today. I know you had a busy day to watch that Colin Cowherd interview he had on Fox Sports today with Ben Johnson, and just the change that has happened from the front office. And I quote, he said, I have a chance to, I see a chance for greatness here, for him. He's been communicated that way, and he feels the same way. I don't know what's gone on prior to him joining the organization, but he's very proud to be a Chicago Bear, Johnson told Fox Sports as the Herd, hosted by Colin Cowherd. Now, my question to you is, can you imagine Eberflus in the same situation last year, right now with Caleb Williams as this story drops? What a disaster it would be. What almost the picture of awkwardness at the press conference, the vague answers, the sense of the team walking on eggshells, and even a chance of this locker room already being lost, of it even being lost even further. Like, he already harnessed this on that show on Fox today. I thought it was fantastic for him, and almost the way that Collar Coward brought it to him, brought the story to him, and he gave that answer and flipped it right back to football. Like, you know what? This is
Yeah,
about the Bears.
and it preceded him. And I will say
Yeah.
this, John. Well, you bring up Matt Eberflus and Ben Johnson, and I want to thank Vizzo Joe for joining us, and Cino 3000 guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Throw some stuff in the chat, guys. We'll talk about it. But
Yes, he
Ben
did. Sir.
Johnson,
Yes, he did.
Ben Johnson felt the same way as Caleb Williams approaching this job for the Bears with the
Yeah.
Bears organization as a head coach. He said he wanted to talk to Ryan Poles, and he wanted to know that there's going to be alignment. He wanted to know that the franchise is going to move in the right direction. Now, obviously, Caleb Williams had a lot to do with enticing Ben Johnson to this franchise, but Ben Johnson did not just take this job on a whim. He had a lot of offers. He came here and asked the same thing of Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're going to do. Tell me how you're going to help us succeed. Tell me you're going to give me the pieces that I need to do what you're asking of me if you want a winning football team, man. So Ryan Poles, man, needs to be crowned for what we're hearing
He
from the
does.
West. I mean, this is ridiculous because you have now heard basically by so many reports that this guy, I mean, he told Caleb Williams in so many words, you're coming here no matter what, but he did also get Caleb Williams to buy in. It wasn't
And to
just
calm down.
it wasn't just this is what it is, deal with it. Yeah, he got Caleb to buy into it, and then he got Ben Johnson to do the same. So I mean, our GM right now, Sean, is kind of fucking killing it. I'm going to say that.
I really I can't disagree. And you know, the quote that came out, of that, I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find it here. I think it's this one here. He goes, in the end, Caleb Williams, and this was, if you go into the book, this was after the meeting with Ryan Poles. He came out and said, in the end, I told Wickersham I wasn't ready to nuke the city. After the pre-draft visit to the Bears facility, Williams believed he could be part of the process to turn the franchise around. I can do it for this team, Caleb told his dad. I'm going to go to the Bears. I take that away as saying, regardless of if he was forced to be here or not, Ryan Poles got him in that room and said, look, man, I understand it's been a shit show here for the last existence of quarterbacks. You're going to be the guy. I'm going to be the guy. We're going to get the guys here. My only question in this whole situation, because I still hold Poles accountable a little bit, and I guess it works out in the same way, and I haven't had a chance to ask this. It's just been rumbling around in my brain. Poles is responsible for keeping Eberflus here. But if Eberflus gets fired last year or ahead of the season, does that probably means we don't get Ben Johnson because Ben Johnson doesn't leave Detroit? Or if Eberflus is fired, does Ben Johnson leave Detroit last year and take the job here in Chicago? I guess no one will know. In the end, it all kind of worked out, but you also wasted a year of Eberflus or of Caleb Williams' career. So in a way, there is still some responsibility on Poles, and I think Poles had to get him to buy in because even though Caleb Williams was forced to come here, that didn't mean he had to be the patron saint that he's been since he's been here. He could have came in here and been a total asshole diva and been like, look, I don't want to fucking be here. I'm biding my time and getting the hell out of here. I'm going to force the Bears to trade me. He could have totally did that. He took the big man stance. He embraced the city. We saw him going around bars in Chicago, getting the Green Bay sucks chant going in Wrigleyville. I mean, he embraced it from the moment he got here. And I do put a lot of that on Poles' shoulders for reeling that in. I just still hold Poles responsible for losing 1 year of his career.
Well,
I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, Poles made a grave mistake in retaining Matt Eberflus. Everybody in Chicago wanted that guy gone, and it's a problem when your fans can see something that the general manager can't. But you can't dwell on your mistakes. You have to learn from them. So,
Yeah.
And then you're right, Sean. Who knows if Ben Johnson's even an option if he had fired Matt Eberflus last season? But I will say this, man. I mean, this is becoming more of a trend in the NFL after seeing like a decade straight of coaches getting fired after one season. You're starting to see this. The Matt Eberflus thing, it's not new to the league. I mean, Brian Dable, by all measures, man, I thought was as good as fucking canned this last year, and he's sticking around. So I mean, and then Dan Campbell after his intro presser was not very likable, if you ask me. I remember texting Dustin like, this guy is a lunatic. And then after his first year, it didn't go very well. So he was very easy to question if like, is this guy the guy? I mean, is this legit or is this dude just a nut job? And they stuck by him, man. And look where he's taken that organization that's done nothing but fail prior to hiring him. So I know that coach or the GMs are starting to appreciate the continuity with these coaches a little more and starting to give them a little more leniency, even though, like you said, Sean, this is a ticking time bomb now, this NFL. I mean, when you draft a quarterback on a rookie deal, something's got to happen.
Yeah.
The hourglass has been flipped, and you're right. I mean, we can't change anything about it, but Ryan Poles absolutely stripped a year away from Caleb Williams. Now, I believe Caleb Williams is a really intelligent player, and I believe no matter how bad things got last year, he took a lot in. He's a
He did.
sponge. He learned a lot, maybe not from the right people, but he learned a lot about the speed of the NFL. He developed relationships with guys like Rome Odunze and DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. So, I mean, there are some things that Caleb can take away from his rookie season. I would hope, as an intelligent individual, that he can apply towards his future. That's going to help him. But yeah, you can't. I mean, this is why when we can talk. We're going to talk about the NFC North, and I think the Bears still. There was a lot of aggression this offseason, man. I mean, Ryan Poles was aggressive because I think he's not oblivious to it. He knows he's 1 year behind. He knows it.
Yeah.
He's playing catch up right now, and he's showing aggression. And me and Dustin said a lot over the offseason, this team needs to be aggressive now. They need to do it now. I don't like every time somebody talks about this Bears team with Ben Johnson now as the head coach, man, they proceed it with, I mean, this is not a Super Bowl team. This is not a playoff team. Like, I hope that Ben Johnson's not approaching this year thinking that way. I really,
I don't.
really don't.
I
I
think
hope that Ben Johnson's thinking, who the hell knows? If I get these guys right, if they put in the fucking work, we can be whoever the hell we want to be this year. This year,
Yeah,
not in
and
the future.
I think that they're taking the championship mentality, and I think that's coming from Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams isn't used to losing. He does. I don't think he harnessed it very well, but that was very new for him last year. This guy's been a winner, and I think they're coming into this season. They built this roster. It's going to be a very tough schedule, as we'll get into here in a little bit. It's going to be a very tough schedule to conquer, but I think they're going for the division. I think Ben Johnson showed that. I mean, that Detroit's going to be gunning for him. He already started a rivalry with Matt LaFleur. I mean, this guy is guns a blazing. He's arrogant. He's cocky, but he does it in a way that doesn't come off that way, if you know what I mean. Like, he's very self confident in his abilities and what he can do. And before we get into the schedule, I'll tell you exactly what I feel about this season. I said it last night on the Barely There podcast, and for me, it's worth saying one more time. And I think you might have some rebuttal to it, and I really hope that you do. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. I know yesterday we did the schedule, and I had the Bears winning 10 games. I still think that's going to be very difficult for this team with this schedule.
This is
Football's a
a
weird
joke.
sport. It's a weird sport. 2 years ago, the Texans went to the playoffs and they were picked to have 3 wins. Last year, the Redskins went to the NFC Championship
Oh,
game. They were picked to have 5 wins.
this is the
You know,
professional sports league to
yeah,
do it, Sean. I mean, I don't know that there's another league where this happens more frequently. I mean, I think there was literally bets at one point on some of these betting apps like FanDuel and stuff, which team goes worst to first, because this is something that occurs almost once a year. And Ben Johnson right now, Sean, is the lead candidate for Coach of the Year. I mean, you,
just
you don't get Coach of the Year if you win 7 games. You know what I mean? So I don't want to get ahead of my skis, and I know that the Bears still have a lot to put on the field before we can
yeah.
say this is a good football team, but it certainly looks like it's moving in the right direction on paper. And
It's going to
like
be a
I
well
said,
coached football team.
there's no way that this team is going to have a lay down approach. We'll just wait till next year and see what
No,
happens. I mean, this team is going to play their ass off, and Ben Johnson's going to be the guy that sees to it that each player does their job, man. And if you feel like the roster is good and Ben Johnson's holding each player accountable for what it is, like you just showed me that Tyson Bagent thing, and he says, we know our roles. We know Ben Johnson's showing us what the expectation is of us individually, not necessarily as a team, but right now we're learning what we're supposed to do individually. And
Yeah.
I don't know that the Bears had that mentality last year. I think the Bears kind of all rejoiced and hung their head as a unit. You know what I mean? When the things were up, they were celebrating. When things were down, they kind of quit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's about it's about accountability, and that's what sunk this Bears team for the last 3 4 years. When
And
Matt
you remember
Eberflus was the
hearing,
coach of this football team, nobody held these guys accountable. And if your coaches and your leaders don't hold you accountable, at some point the players will stop doing so.
oh, Vizzo Joe puts up Andrew Siciliani had an interesting stat. For the past 30 years, the NFL has had at least 4 new playoff teams. Hopefully, the Bears are one this year. Look, I'm not saying the Bears can't make the playoffs. I'm saying that now that the schedule's out and I'm looking at the heart of the schedule, the Bears have to learn the scheme. Ben Johnson has to learn how to be a head coach. There's a lot of Tetris pieces that you're going to have to fit in the right places, especially when you're looking at that tough stretch where you go to Baltimore, to Cincinnati, then you play the Giants, who are going to have a tough defense. Then you fall into the Steelers. Then you play the Packers 2 out of 3 weeks. I mean, and the Vikings are in there too, ahead of the Steelers. So I think it's the Steelers or the Vikings and the Steelers. I don't know by art yet. I'm trying to get there, but that middle part of the Bears schedule is tough. And I really do think, and I said this last night, I think that the part of the turnover of this roster was getting intelligent players, players that know how to play football with a high IQ, and you see that when you start talking to them. I think Ozzie Trapilo is a very intelligent guy. If you've watched any of his interviews since he's come in, been drafted by the Bears, he's been extremely smart. Roman Dunze is extremely smart. Caleb Williams is extremely smart. I mean, what was his first thing Caleb Williams did when he came to the Chicago Bears? He opened that Midas 888 Investment Foundation Corporation for real estate and what it was to make more capital in case his football career ends. I mean, this guy's intelligent beyond his belief. You picked up a guy like Joe Tooney, who's only going to enhance your locker room, teach some of these younger linemen some nuances on the line. I really like where this team has come in 3 years, and I'm penning a somewhat of apology letter to Ryan Poles, but not a full apology letter, because I still do think if you go back to his draft from a couple of years ago and you go down it, there's only one player left on the team on it. So the depth issues still are his, but again, a young GM learning on the job. Hopefully he learned in this draft this year is a full depth draft where everybody on this team, everybody in this draft contributes, because that's the Bears need to hit on a couple of those. Because if you go with these drafts the last 13 years, that's what's missing on this team. That's what the Eagles don't miss on. That's what the Niners don't miss on. That's what the Steelers don't miss on. That's what the Ravens don't miss on. They don't miss on the drafts. They have high success, and their first 4-round players contribute to the roster. And the Bears hopefully stop missing in the 3rd round. Please.
Well, and just another, I wrote that piece on culture and about how the Bears weren't afraid to draft Luther Burden as far as he fell because other GMs in the NFL didn't want to mess with this guy. He had some character issues. It had been
Yeah.
reported by scouts, at least, that he didn't really want to participate when nobody was watching. I think the culture change has a lot to do with Ryan Poles. And I think I don't know that any GM that ran this organization prior to Ryan Poles would have drafted Caleb Williams with this information that we received today. I
You're
really don't.
probably right.
And I think, like I said, these coaches took it upon themselves to draft Luther Burden. Like, we can change. We can change this dude. If he's got problems, we'll straighten it out. We'll make him the best football player he can be. Ryan Poles thought the same thing about Caleb Williams. This guy might not have. So right now, he thinks that this organization is what it is based on the past. I'm going to show him that the future is going to be different. And I'm gonna get this guy here, and I'm gonna make him a believer I don't know that our GMs would have done that. They probably would have just passed on this guy and gone to the next one. Jaden Daniels probably would have been the quarterback of the Bears. And I'm not saying that would have been the worst thing in the world, but at least we had a GM finally who's like, I'm going to make this right, man. I don't want this organization to be an organization that the number one pick in the NFL draft by all measures doesn't want to fucking be at, man. Like, that's not a good look, man. Because if Caleb Williams does that, right? If Caleb Williams, if the report comes out that we drafted Drake May, right? Because Caleb Williams just simply wouldn't come to Chicago, nobody wants to play here, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just the culture has to change, and Ryan Poles has been a piece of that, and it is changing. I believe that firmly, and it's changing for the better. And people are wanting to come. Ben Johnson chose this team, and then
He
Eric
did.
Bieniemy chose Ben Johnson, and Randall L came with them. I mean, I just
That
don't think that
talent.
if I don't think that a few years ago this would have been a thing, man. These guys would have been like, no, thank you. It's not just a place where quarterbacks go to die. This is a place where coaches go to die. Who
It
knows that all
is.
the coaches that have been the head coaches of
Well,
this team or coordinators on this
well,
team, who knows that they were all bad coaches, man? There's a Bears effect that definitely infiltrates the minds of these people. They become yes men. They get, I don't know, it's an infection, man. And then your career ends here. Even
wasn't
Bears coaches, your career ends here.
wasn't it Mushin Muhammad who said this is where receivers come to die?
Yeah. I think
So
I don't remember somebody. It might have been
I'm
more.
pretty sure it was Mushin Muhammad. It's like, man, every position comes to Chicago to die, and that has to stop, man. Unless you're a linebacker or a running back.
And the mentality cannot exist any longer because if players think that this is where they go to die, man, you're never going to get good ones.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of culture change is making this a destination in which players long to play for. And
You
Ryan
know,
Poles is doing that.
and you brought up Luther Burden, and this is going to be out of the blue because I know we're not doing this today, but I'm going out. What's going on, Aunt Mass? Thanks for checking in, brother.
What's up,
Uh,
MS?
I'm going to go on a limb and say Luther Burden, and I know Roman Dunze is here in Chicago, and I know DJ Moore is here, but we do expect a quarterback to pass for over 4,000 yards this year. I don't know that I'm going to change this, but I think Luther Burden could have a very similar season to, say, a Lad McConkey from last year. And if you remember McConkey, he had a couple of games in the early part of the year where he was explosive. Then it kind of dipped, and then towards the end of the year, he just kind of exploded. And if you had him on your fantasy team at the end of the year, you were loving this guy because he was catching
Luther
like 10
Burden's going
balls.
to be a major impact player.
I'm saying, and I believe he was around 70 or 80 catches, and I want to say 1,100 yards on McConkey last year. I'm going to go somewhere around there. I think Luther Burden was a steal, and I know I said it. I chimed in on Monday when I was in sick bay. Luther Burden might be better than Roma Dunze when it's all said and done.
I don't want to say that yet, but I'll say this,
Look,
man.
it's a great problem to have, isn't it?
When the NFL world is shocked by the fact that you fell to the second round, that means you're a good player regardless of what your character. If you suck and you have character issues, nobody cares if you fall to the seventh round.
Right.
Nobody cares if you fall out of the draft. Nobody cares because it's like, yeah, nobody's going to deal with that guy's attitude when he sucks, anyways. You know what I mean? That's like, and it shocked the world that Luther Burden was where he was. I remember they kept showing him, even through the first round, they kept showing him sitting on the couch waiting for a phone call because everybody knew this guy should have already been on an NFL team. He shouldn't be sitting here on the couch waiting for a phone call. I do want to say this, Vizzo Joe. I don't. You say believe it or not. I think Kevin Warren had a lot to do with the convincing of George to pay the best head coach. You don't even have to say believe it or not. It is a fact, and I think Kevin Warren has had a lot to do with the change of culture as well. Matter of fact, I think the change of culture might have started with Kevin Warren because not only do I think Kevin Warren told George McCaskey let Ryan Poles pick whoever the hell he's going to pick and pay whatever the guy's asking for. I think he also told George McCaskey last year, Ryan wants to fire this fucking coach. And that's what we're gonna do, man. You hired
Yeah.
Ryan Poles. You are paying Ryan Poles. He has a job to do, managing this football team. Let him do it. Trust the guy you hired. Let him do his job. Because it's been reported now that Ryan Poles did in fact want to fire Matt Eberflus halfway through the season, regardless of whether or not he was the guy that stuck by him. He did want to move on from him.
You should have wanted to fire him the January previous.
Should have wanted to fire him the year he hired him. But I think Kevin Warren has changed a lot here. I do, and I think even the idea of, like, because he had the stadium plans on his desk the first day he walked into his office, and I think even the idea of building a dome off-site out of the city of Chicago was a lot to do with Kevin Warren. And I know people are like, oh, he wants to stay on the lakefront. I don't know about that. I think that he's looking at this 300 plus acre property licking his chops right now, man.
Here,
Versus, by the way, Phil, Bears fan for life. I don't know if maybe he'll join us later. Do you know how much acres the Bears are on right now?
I have no idea.
The Bears are on the league's lowest, by the way, smallest lot in the NFL. 7 acres.
Surprise me.
7 acres Soldier Field is on. The
Not
Bears
to
just
mention-
bought 300 plus, 334 or something, guys. That's where this stadium is.
340 acres, I believe.
In Arlington. Yeah. And I think Kevin Warren has a lot to do with
I'll tell you this. We've had
building
these
a
arguments
dome.
on Tuesdays at darts for a very long time. I even have a bet with one of my buddies, Tim, because he believes they're going to be in Chicago. I said, number one, I said, these guys have been talking to Ricketts. I know it's not in the I've heard it. I heard it on a radio show. It's not being publicized, but Ricketts and Warren have talked. He's seen the rehab at Wrigley, how much property he owns, and this is why the Cubs are breaking even is a fucking joke, because those tills are turning around Wrigley Field for concerts, for hockey games, for baseball games, and every single one of those tills is going into Ricketts' pockets. The Bears are thinking the same thing. We're going to build Bear City. We're going to build hotels. We're going to build restaurants. We're going to build bars. We're going to have Super Bowls. We're going to have freaking
Final four games. Sure. And think about, let me ask you this. I mean, this isn't rocket science. Like, if I said to you, if you wanted to build a home and you buy a lot to do it, and I say to you, you can build your home on that lot that you own and do whatever the hell you want with it, or you can build a home on my lot and I can regulate it.
Correct.
What the hell are you going to do?
It's so simple that people don't understand all the hoops he's trying to go through just for them to say yes. Number one, people don't realize how much sway the Park District has. The Park District already came out and said, we're not changing. This is our land. We're not doing it. The mayor or the what's his name? The governor came out and said, you're never going to get the money. The answer is always going to be no. They told the White Sox no. They told the Bears no.
Yeah, they even put it on the ballot, I think, and it was voted no. Yeah, so
like, guys, get over it. Put a shovel. They already agreed to the tax break in Arlington Heights. The new mayor just endorsed everything.
No, that guy's excited as hell, man.
Yeah,
like in Arlington, he's like, I want to bring the White Sox here too. Get over here. Yeah, that guy's all for it.
You want to know what's funny is, I mean, I'm going to be 47 in 2 months. So by the time I'm, say, 54, the Bears will probably be playing in that stadium.
In a dome. And possibly hosting a Super Bowl, man. So try to wrap your head around that, man.
That would hopefully they're hosting their own Super Bowl.
But in regards to Caleb Williams being convinced by Ryan Poles to join the Chicago Bears, to buy into it, and to be the guy that changes this franchise, I want to start with him when we start to dive into this NFC North. Okay, because I believe Caleb Williams is that dude. I believe he's a special player, and I believe that he's going to make this team competitive no matter how long it takes Ben Johnson to get his head wrapped around being a head coach. And I think Caleb's the best quarterback in this division. I think Caleb's 100%.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think here, I'll say this, and I don't care if people agree or disagree with me because it's my opinion and my opinion alone. Give me right now the skill set, the precision, and the mindset of a better quarterback in the NFC. All the good quarterbacks aren't in the NFC. I'm sorry. I'm I'm not a Jalen Hurts believer because I'll tell you this: you put Pat Mahomes on the Philadelphia Eagles, I think the Philadelphia Eagles might be undefeated for the last couple of years. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels looks like he's going to be a pretty special player with a pretty special skill set, very different from Caleb Williams. And this is
very
not,
different.
listen, and this is not the quarterback that I've been waiting for my entire life to be in the Chicago Bears. I want the guy that throws the ball. But listen, there's only one player on a team, man, that can throw the ball. Only one guy can do
Yeah.
it. I mean, obviously you can run your stupid gimmick plays and your flea flickers and all that fun stuff, but one guy has the ability to throw the ball with his hand primarily. That's the quarterback. That's the thing I want him to be best at. I want the guy to be able to
Yeah.
throw the damn ball better than anyone else on the team, better than the guy on the opposing team. Jaden Daniels looks like he's a solid player. Looks like he's going to be a really hard player to defend in his future. But Caleb Williams, to me, looks like a better passer, a thrower of the football. Now,
Oh,
Caleb's
100%.
deep ball has been inaccurate, and Jaden's deep ball looked phenomenal. But Caleb Williams is also making plays under much more duress and putting the ball in spots on those midfield throws, Sean, that I haven't yet seen Jaden Daniels do. Just commanding an offense to move the chains without having to run for a first down. That's who Caleb Williams is going to be, and I think he's going to be pretty damn good at it now that he's got some protection in front of him.
Well, if you remember last year, there was a couple knocks on Jaden Daniels, and he used his legs to hide some of these deficiencies, but he had a problem throwing to the left side or the right side and up the middle of the field. It was either the left or the right. I can't remember. He was stationary to one side of the field, and I know he had a problem throwing up the middle of the field last year. And defensive coordinators are going to have a year of film now. They're going to be able to zone in on some of these things. I wasn't really buying into, I had Jason and Kyle saying they think that Jaden Daniels could take a big step back this year. Not going to suck, but take a step back. And, I started to process that and think, man, he's going to use his legs more. But if he can't figure out how to use the middle of the field, that's going to be a detriment to his career.
Google says Jaden Daniels primarily likes to throw to the right side of the field.
So he struggles to the left and up the center. That's a big problem.
And if teams, if you can't fix that, teams know that already.
Right.
Defenses already know this by studying the film. If it's not something he can come into next season doing better, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And I'm not saying I wish Jaden Daniels the best.
Me too.
He was a good kid. I really liked him. If the Bears didn't draft Caleb Williams, I was okay with Jaden Daniels. I knew he was going to win the Heisman 2 years ago. He's an exciting player to watch.
Hey, T, we're going to show you some levels week 2, buddy.
But he's got to get better at doing that, man. And then I do want to say, Sean, I didn't see I've never seen AJP. Have you ever seen AJP?
I missed that. I missed him too. Hey, welcome to the show, buddy, man.
What's going on, AJP? We appreciate you joining us, man. Thanks for hanging out. Throw some stuff in the chat. Join the conversation if you will, man. Haven't seen you. Oh, yeah. There's the applause for AJP, a newcomer. Please hit that like and subscribe, my man. Don't feel obligated. Feel free to watch the show and let us know what you think. But yeah, if you have something to contribute, AJP, please do.
He's going to be real happy.
We got that
Lombardi Trophy in a couple years, my friend.
We got a Lions fan in here. We got T.
Should we break down the Lions schedule first? Because it's looking like 6-win season. No,
let's go from first to worst based on last year's standings.
First to worst. Oh, so the Lions, the Detroit Football Lions. T, you're in the house. You showed up at the right time. I'm gonna throw your boys up on the screen here. Look at my fancy artwork.
Oh, wait. T wants an applause. Let's give it to him. He asked directly for it. He asked directly for it.
Do we have a golf clap in
He's
here?
loyal.
Hold on. It's got to restart itself.
There you go, T. That's for you. That's a heartfelt applause, T.
And your team is up first. How about that? We're gonna run through this schedule.
Look what we're doing for you. You're catering to you, T.
Look at that. Week 1 in Green Bay.
Thanks for joining us, man, as always. Yeah.
I didn't do this yesterday.
This schedule, because I was thinking about it, Sean, when we were putting this together today. I didn't get to actually look at any of this till I got out of work today, but My God, man, it's no easier for anybody else in this division than it is the
God,
Chicago
it's
Bears.
not.
I mean, we are, and look, they even got the Buccaneers on their schedule on a Monday night. I mean,
Hmm.
because obviously
They got the
Detroit,
Chiefs on Sunday night, bro.
yeah, Detroit's playing the winners of the divisions that they handplucked the games out of. So it's going to be harder for them than anybody else in this division this year. So I mean, this is just rough, guys. And T, let
This
us
is
know what you
really
think.
rough.
But I mean, this is rough on all four teams in this division in the NFC North. We have to play the NFC East. Everybody does. We have to play the AFC North, which is always a rough division, man. I mean, the Steelers, the Browns, the Browns, even the Browns, man. Just like
Well,
always
that
seem to
front
have a
seven.
yeah, a defense that can swallow you up, man. So
If you're
if I'm
looking at
looking at
this, the
I'm looking
first
at this, yeah, go
four
ahead.
weeks, the first 4 weeks, what you got? I'll tell you what I got.
I like the Lions to beat the Packers. I like the Lions to win first home, their home opener, their first game at home against the Bears. I like the Lions to lose to the Ravens 100%. And I like the Lions to beat the Browns. I like the Lions to start strong, 3-1.
We are in 100% agreement on
Yeah.
that.
Um,
The next four, we got the Bengals at the Bengals at the Chiefs, and then Monday night against the Bucks, and then they get the Week 8 bye. Wow,
Sean,
that's brutal.
I think they lose three straight here.
Oh,
I do, and I'm not. And listen, T, don't. I'm not a hater, and I'm not a biased Bears fan. I have you weren't here for last week's bare minimum. I have been preaching this for a while. I think nobody thinks this team's going to regress at all because they lost some of their coaching
oh, I
staff
do.
because the roster's still just as strong, if not better, after the draft. Sure, sure, the roster did improve. I'll even say that the roster improved, but okay. And to me, this is a heavy weighted but. Okay, I think that Ben Johnson got the best Jared Goff that any coach could get out of Jared Goff. And I firmly believe that he is slightly above average quarterback. And with a play caller that's not as innovative as Ben Johnson, this guy will be the regress. Jared Goff will be the regression in the Lions. That's what I think.
So I don't think they're going to lose three straight. I
We, you got him beating the Bengals?
I think I'm going to have them lose to the Bengals and the Chiefs and beat the Bucks
I
back at
really like
home on
this. I
Monday
really
night.
like this Bucks team, man. I think this Bucks.
I like the
We
Bucks
wait,
team
listen.
too.
So in the NFC South, man, it's always been which shit team's gonna win it. But I think the Bucks are starting to separate themselves from the rest of that division. I think the Falcons are still going to be a team that struggles. The Saints are going to be god awful. The Panthers aren't going to finish very strong. I think the Buccaneers are going to run away with that division this year. I
I
really
agree
do.
100%.
I
I
think they're going
actually
to
we did our power
be a
rankings.
12-win team. I believe that, Sean. This could be the Buccaneers could be an 11, 12-win football team.
We did our NFC rankings last week ahead of the schedule coming out, and I ranked. Hold on, I gotta find them in all this crap that I have in here. But I had them ranked. I had my power rankings were the Eagles, Lions, Redskins, Rams, and and this was Sean's way too early. I might be flipping. I might actually be putting the Rams and Tampa Bay ahead of Washington and dropping Washington down to 5. So I had the Eagles, Detroit, Washington, Rams, Tampa Bay 1 through 5. I'm probably going to move them up and I'm going to move Washington down because I kind of forgot when I was doing this the deficiencies in Washington's defense, which I think is going to be a big Achilles heel for them this year.
And the Buccaneers just added more talent and Emeka
Yeah.
Buka. I mean, Baker Mayfield has all the weapons in the world. Their rushing game was one of the best in the league last year. They did lose Liam Cohen, so this is another team that lost a coach. But Sean, I think this Buccaneers team has the potential to win 11 or 12 games this year. I really do. I think they're going to be a really good football team, and I think Baker Mayfield is that dude. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think there's still people out there that question whether or not he's like a legitimate franchise quarterback. I think that he's doing whatever the hell he can to show the world they should probably just shut the hell up. But I listen. I like the Lions, guys. I'm gonna say this as a Bears fan here and now. My grandfather was a Detroit Lions fan. I watched some games with him when I was a kid. I had nothing against the Lions because they were always a team that you could beat when you were a Bears fan. I do not dislike the Lions. I do see major regression this year.
Hey,
And I
Brandon,
think they go on a 3-game skid here, Sean.
you'll notice that the only non-disrespectful schedule I did was the Lions.
How do you mean non-disrespectful?
Oh, you'll see when we put up the other
Oh,
ones.
okay. All right. So I've got the Lions right now, man, at
We got them at 4-3.
yeah. No,
I
I
got
got them at 3-4.
You got them at 3-4. Okay, I was marking you. I had you mark you down wrong. I have them at 5-2. I have them at 5-2.
Okay. I think they
Um,
beat the Vikings after the bye. I think
I
coming out of
I
a bye,
I agree.
the Lions have been good after a bye too since Dan Campbell's been the coach. I like them beating the Vikings out of the bye, and I'm just not a JJ McCarthy fan, guys. I'm just again young guy, root for him. Hope that his career is long and illustrious, but
Well, I'm
I
going to
just
tell you
don't see
this,
it
T.
happening.
We're going to see what Brandon picks, but I'm giving the Lions their 8th win versus the Commanders because the Commanders did not do anything to shore up that run defense. David Montgomery and Gibbs, if they're healthy come week 10 playing the Commanders, are going to run for 7 gazillion yards against them. And I don't really know that.
Yeah, I think the Commanders take a step back this year, and there's no merit to this. I'm just gonna say, like, everything that Kingsbury touches just eventually fades into the shadows. So I think that the Commanders have struggled this year a lot more than they did last year. I'm gonna take the Lions over the Commanders as well.
So you have them at 5-4, and I'm at 6-3.
I think they lose to the Eagles, Sean. I think this Eagles team is gonna come close to a perfect record this year.
I have them losing to the Eagles as well, but then beating the Giants
Yeah, they beat the Giants.
and beat the Packers on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'll give them two. I'll give them 2 games to the Packers.
I
I'll give
mean,
them.
this gets pretty easy. I'm going to take them to beat the Cowboys as well.
Yeah, I dislike the Cowboys coming into this season. I've been preaching that to you for a while. I think this is a team that's on its way down, and I think it's going to get ugly starting this year.
I'm going to take them for a loss versus the Rams in LA.
I like them to beat the Rams.
You like them to beat the Rams, okay? I
Yeah,
got them for a loss
I think
there.
that's a game Jared Goff's going to take personally. He's pretty familiar with that stadium.
I got them at. I'm missing a win. Oh, the Giants. I missed the Giants game. I got to mark them down for a win there. They'll beat the Giants. So I have them at 10-4 right now after the. Ooh,
I have them at 8-6 after the Rams.
I have them at 10-4 after the Rams.
God, I would like I want to say they lose to the Steelers, man, but this team just does not have a quarterback. I'm going to say this might be Mike Tomlin, one of Mike Tomlin's. This would be his first losing record.
Well, if if Aaron Rodgers goes there, maybe I'll change my mind there. But right now, I'm giving that to
Yeah, I'm just going to say because it's at home. I like the Lions.
I'm gonna give them their 5th loss versus the Vikings, and on Christmas Day. No Christmas presents for you, T.
I'm going to say they beat the Vikings.
You gonna beat the Vikings in Minnesota,
I haven't beaten the Rams, Steelers, and Vikings.
and I'm gonna take them to lose to the Bears in the final game of the season. Split with Chicago.
As am I. Yeah.
So I have them at 11-6, which with this schedule, I might not have the games right, but could very be possible. I said originally looking at it, I had them at 5 losses. So I'll take that for early. I got the Lions written down here. Hold on, I'm trying to get to this media so I can get this off of here. So yeah, I got them at 11-6. So 11-6 in the North, and I'll tell you this. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna run you through the Bears because I have my Bears, but we'll see where we agree.
Hey, throw that schedule back up. Throw the Lions back up there
Lions?
real quick. Yeah, I'm trying to 8-6.
Are you trying to get the teams?
I'm trying to see where I had them finishing overall. I didn't write the team's records down when I was doing this today. I said they lost to the Steelers. Yeah. No, I said they beat the Steelers.
Beat the Steelers. And then beat the Vikings and then lose to the Bears. What did you have their final record at?
I'm gonna say they're 10-7.
10-7. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then we got.
I'm gonna and I'm not. There's no way because I had them beating. I can't give them a 5-game stretch. Their wins. They're 10-7. I'm giving them 10-7. Well, I just honestly, that's just not likely. But so I'll give them 10-7.
The Queens were the second place team, weren't they?
So T says this, which is interesting, from a Lions fan, and I'm not trying to call you out here, man, but I got to. You said that you guys are going to be close to going to the playoffs, and we are going to beat you, and I'll enjoy the last game flex to stop you guys from making it. If you believe that the Lions are competing in that game with the Bears, as opposed to resting their starters, you probably don't think their record's as good as it was last season, right?
Yeah, that's a fact. Because I mean,
I'd imagine that you're stating that you think the Lions are playing that last game to make it to the playoffs as well.
Yeah, it's going to say for me because I mean, I'll explain it. I'll explain it in a second.
He says you on a hater brand. You tripping? You on 10 you called them 11-6, and I said 10-7, and we're haters. God, wait till we get to the Vikings.
Oh God!
Wait till we get to the Packers.
Oh God, the Packers. The Packers are. I don't think the Packers are going to be 500 team for me, but we'll see when we get there because they'll be next. We got the Queens.
You put these graphics together.
Yeah,
this is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I did some good shit today. This is some of my best work.
I did some good shit today. I am taking the Bears in week 1, man. This might sound
I'm taking the Bears.
Again, I don't know here. Let's just Google it right now. I'm gonna Google it right now. And I've been thinking about this, man. I've been actually thinking about I meant to do this already.
What's that?
I'll let you know in a sec.
Yeah, and then the Falcons in week, man. I'll give them a win on Sunday Night Football. What a terrible Sunday Night Football game. Penix versus possibly J.J. McCarthy. I'll give the Vikes the win in that one and give them the 1-1, but I'm giving them 2 losses in a row to the Bengals and the Steelers and dropping them to 1-3. And I'll go to week 5 since week 6 is their bye. We'll do the first 5 weeks. I'll give them a win versus the Browns, and we'll get the Vikings 2-3.
It's not giving me an actual odd, man. I'm trying to find the odds that rookie quarterbacks winning their debut. I want to know what the odds are on that. If somebody can find that, throw in the chat, because I would imagine it's historically egregious. I'm guessing like less than 20% of rookie QBs win their very first game in the NFL. And JJ McCarthy's not a standout rookie to me. And I know he's not a rookie, but he theoretically he is. I mean, the guy has.
So here it is. In the NFL, 16 rookie quarterbacks have won their debut games since the NFL merger in 1970. A rookie quarterback last won their week 1 start in 2018 with Sam Darnold leading the New York Jets. The record includes 16-35-1 for rookie quarterbacks and season openers. Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears is the latest quarterback to win their debut game in 2024.
16-35-1, yeah.
Since the merger.
I'm saying that the Vikings absolutely lose J.J. McCarthy's first.
Hey, guys, let me just say this. The Bears open as underdogs in Vegas. Bet that shit now.
Honestly, and not even based on what you think the Bears might be, but based on the fact that there's a rookie quarterback who I didn't think was all that good in Michigan starting for the Vikings week 1. Well, presumably. I don't know, Sean. They did add Sam Howell. I don't know if Kevin O'Connell's in any rush to get J.J. McCarthy on the field, but I would imagine with a 4-year rookie contract, you probably want to get that guy in the field, right? You want to play in some football.
He said his response to you was he said, no, we'll be in the playoffs already. So
I don't know then how much the Lions, if that's the case, I don't know how much they're going to put into that game, man. So I got the Vikings winning week 1 at the Bears. I'll have them winning the Falcons. I'll have them losing to the Bengals.
Hold on,
I'm gonna,
you just said you had the Vikings winning at the Bears.
or no, sorry, losing to the Bears,
Okay.
beating the Falcons, losing to the Bengals. I'll I'll take the Steelers, man. I
Me too.
will, because it's the battle of teams without quarterbacks. As far as I'm fucking concerned, man. Um,
Dublin. I feel bad for Dublin.
I think
I
they'll beat the Browns, as will everybody in the NFL this year. Um,
got
lose
them
to
at
the
2-3.
Eagles, absolutely lose to the Chargers.
Lose to the
Lose,
Eagles, lose to the Chargers. I agree. At the
I
Lions, we had that as a loss.
loss, yeah. So man, I'm really hammering the Vikings right now. I have them.
Week 10, Ravens lost. Week 11, Bears. I gave them a win there. I don't know how I feel about that, but
I
at
have
the
them.
Packers, I'll give them a loss.
I have them at 2-5. I have them at 2-6 after through the first half of their schedule.
So do I. I don't
Man,
have their third win coming until they play the Bears in
we
week 11.
really think that I mean, they had Sam Darnold last year, man. Do we really think that that's going to make that big of a difference that McCarthy's
What's up,
playing quarterback
Kamish?
for this team? What's going on, Crooked Commish?
I mean, I'm just purely looking at, I'm kind of with you guys. Like, I don't think JJ McCarthy is going to be a good NFL quarterback. And I mean, I think their luck changes if Sam Howell is the starter. I know he turns the ball over, but man, that guy could chuck the rock all over and he can get the
He
ball
throws
to
a lot of
different
touchdowns
places.
too. He's
Right.
he's Jameis Winston all over again. Jameis Winston won a lot of football games.
And you got to remember, hey, you got to remember, this is our way too early NFC North predictions. Don't hold my feet to the fire with this shit.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with being on record here in fucking May doing predictions for this dude. Oh, so I got them at 2-6. I'm gonna say they lose to the Ravens.
Yep.
I'll take them against the Bears at home. So
I'll
I'll
give
say
them that
three
one.
and seven. I'll take them against the Packers.
You're going to take them to win?
Yeah.
I give that one to the Pack in Green Bay.
So I got them at 4-7. I'll take
I
them
got 'em-
against the Seahawks 5-7.
I
I'm
got
gonna
them at.
give I'm
I
gonna
give
give
them
it
the Seahawks.
I'm gonna say the Commanders beat them 5-8.
I am at 4-9.
Say they beat the Cowboys 6-8. I'll say they beat the Giants 7-8.
I'll give them the Cowboys 5-9.
I had the Lions beating them, so 7-9.
Packers last game. I have them at 6-11.
I'm gonna say they go 8-9.
Queens, you got them at 8-9. Well, the Queens made me look like a fool last year, so maybe they will again this year.
Yeah, I don't. It's different though, man. It's different when a guy like Shanahan or O'Connell gets a hold of that veteran quarterback, like the Alex Smith type, the Sam Darnolds, the guys who were drafted high but never really did it. It's a lot different than get your hands on a rookie, man. I don't like, and this isn't the Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Day. I mean, think about it. JJ McCarthy was like the fifth best quarterback in this draft, man.
Yeah, didn't they trade up to get him?
They did trade up to get him,
Yeah,
and I think
I don't
they
know about that.
expected. I'm going to be honest with you, Sean. I think it was desperation. I think they expected Michael Penix to be there.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted JJ McCarthy in this. Although there's a lot of reports that stated they did, but I don't know. I think if Michael Penix was still there, Kevin O'Connell would have. He's a smart guy. He would have probably gone in that direction.
What we
Minnesota's
got?
not beating the Cowboys. T says Minnesota's not beating the Cow. I think the Cowboys are going to be a bad football team, man.
I had the Cowboys. I had the Cowboys winning 7-8 games. I mean, they were pretty dysfunctional last year, and they still figured a way to
And they
7
fired a
wins.
coach, and I
That's the
don't
thing I
like.
don't know
And then
about.
hired a coach from that staff of the coach they fired. Have you ever seen this before?
No,
I mean, I
that
don't.
was so
They
goofy.
basically hired an intermediate coach to be their head coach. He just didn't actually get a chance to be the interim coach
And
last
I don't
year.
know how
Like,
Schottenheimer's going to be. I mean, I know his dad's pretty good, but
I mean, he was coaching on the guy's staff that they fired, man. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Hey,
It
you know what?
doesn't.
This staff sucked, but you were good enough. You can be the head coach
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Just listen, Mike, we just don't like it. This team's going the wrong direction. We're not sold on it. We don't think we can win with you in the future. Where's your assistant at? Is he available? Can we bring him in? Like, it's
Right?
just,
Like,
it's fucking
it's so
weird, man.
weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, Sean. It would be like the Bears retaining Thomas Brown as the head coach. Those things don't
Right.
happen.
Yeah,
You don't do that.
I
It
mean,
doesn't work out.
now Schottenheimer could come in and surprise us all. I mean, we've seen
Look
stranger
at
things.
well, look at the last two examples we saw of this. The Browns retained Kitchens, and the Las Vegas Raiders retained Antonio Pierce. They're
They're
both
both
fired.
failures. Yeah.
I mean, it just I don't. I see
I
this
didn't think it
Cowboys
was the
team being a
Dallas.
train wreck, dude. I already told you, and I'm gonna say it to you. I think Cowboys finished last in this division. I think they're the last team in the NFC East.
There you go. We got the Packers.
Heard it here
Oh,
first.
I just said their fucking name. Damn it.
It's on video.
I know.
I'm cutting a short out of that.
God, I hate when I do that.
All right, so we had the Bears losing to the Lions. Wait, why are we on the Bears? We were doing this first to
No,
worst.
this is the Packers schedule. They're destroying. He's
Oh,
destroying.
you
a
just put the
Packers
bear in the background, and
Yeah.
you made it orange, man. You made this look very Bearsy, man.
Yeah, because I don't want those colors on my screen.
Okay, all right. I'll just look past it. All right, yeah, we had them losing to the Lions in week 1. Yeah.
Yep, we got Green Bay is gonna have.
I'll have them beating the Commanders, man. I'm
Really?
I'm just gonna take LaFleur over Dan Quinn
Okay.
because this is a defensive. This is gonna be a game of chess here, and LaFleur has proven to me, man, that he is not just a product of good quarterbacks. He's a damn good coach.
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him because Green Bay will be home back-to-back weeks. Thursday night football, short rest. Man, I'll give it to that. Commanders defense scares the crap out of me if they're going to be good enough to contend at all. I mean, or stop anybody. They might be like the Bengals of last year. Have to score a lot of points to stay in ball games, and that's not a recipe for success.
Yeah, I'm with you, T. Jerry Jones is just I don't know what he needs to do. He fired himself as the GM, and this team's still not winning Super Bowls. So I don't know what the hell that guy needs to do. Just sell that damn team. I'm going to say they beat the Commanders. I'm going to say they beat the Browns.
He says Packers lose.
I'm going to say they beat the Cowboys. I'm going to say this team starts 3-1, and this shouldn't shock. This shouldn't shock because this is the team that I think. I think that the Lions and Vikings, because of JJ McCarthy and the loss of all the coaches in Detroit, I think they're kind of going to be taking a step back. They're going to be regressing a little bit, and I think this Packers has no reason not to just move forward, man. I really do.
I'm gonna put them at 2-2. I'm gonna put them at 2-2, but I'm gonna say
they're 3-2 after the Bengals game.
I'm gonna have them at 2-2. I'm gonna have them at 2-3. I'm gonna take the Bengals to win that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3-2 after the Bengals. I'm gonna say 4-2 after the Cardinals.
I'm gonna say 2-4 after the Cardinals, and 2-5 after the Steelers.
I'm gonna say 4-3 after the Steelers. I'm gonna give the Steelers the nod on that game. I'm gonna say
he's rolling with us. He has them at
5-3. I'm gonna say 5-3 after the Panthers, man. So I'm gonna say through the first 8 games, the Packers are 5-3.
I have them at 3-5.
I think
you know why? I'll show you why.
Oh boy. I mean, you're not. I would have a year ago. I would have really defended that against that. We would have disagreed here, man. But that he did not impress me last season, man. I'm gonna say they get hammered against the Eagles. Like they're
gonna lose to the Eagles. I am at 3.
Yeah, and then they're gonna bitch a fit about the tush push.
They'll beat the Giants 4-6.
So I had them at 5-3. So I have them at 5-4. Then I'll have 6-4 against the Giants.
I have them at. Oh, okay. I have them beating the Giants.
I had them winning the game against the Vikings.
So did I. I got them at 5-6 here.
Yeah. Okay. So
and then I'll have them at 5-7. At the Bears.
7-4.
Oh, I gotta stick to my guns last night. I'm taking a full-out Bears sweep of the Packers. I'm going Bears. Oh, they're definitely going to lose to the Broncos, and then they're going to lose to the Bears again. So I have the Packers at 5-10 right now.
6.
Oh, they're going to lose to the Ravens too.
7.
This is fun.
8. So yeah, I have them at 8 and 9.
I have them at 6 and
Same
11.
as the Vikings. I have the Packers at 8 and 9, and my God, man, this is the first I'm seeing this, Sean. That is a brutal finish to a schedule.
Yeah, it is, dude. Everyone
My
forgets, dude,
God.
the Broncos are going to be a force this year, dude.
Look at the second half of their schedule. The Eagles, the Lions, the Bears twice.
The
Or no,
Broncos.
sorry, the
Denver.
Bears and Vikings twice, the Broncos and the Ravens.
Yeah.
God, that is rough, dude.
And I have them at 6 and 11. I have the Vikings and the Bear. I have the Vikings and the Queens at 6 and 11, or the Packers and the Queens at 6 and 11.
I have them both at 8 and 9. I don't think either team regresses that much from last season. I still love Kevin O'Connell, man.
I think Kevin O'Connell is great. I got to see something.
I still love Kevin O'Connell and Matt LaFleur as head coaches. I still think they're both phenomenal head coaches.
I don't disagree with
I'm
that.
I'm going to switch that, man. I'm going to flip that. I'm going to go 9 and 8. I'm going to go 9 and 8 on the Packers. I am. I think that more than one team in the NFC North has a winning record.
I'm going to leave him at. Oh, there is. It's going to be the Bears and the Lions.
T thinks 7 and 10.
7 and 10. Hey, I'm one off with you, T. I got him at 6 and 11.
Hey, he says he hates the pack. See, I knew we gave this guy an applause for a reason.
You know what, T?
Yeah, we
we
can agree on that, my man. That was really.
Yeah, the light's not working.
There you go. That's for the hate of the pack. An applause for hating the Packers.
And left. What do we have left? The
Packers
Monsters.
Vizzo Joe says the Packers have a better schedule than the Bears. That's a rough second half, man.
Dude, that second half.
Just
hold on. Let me throw it back up there.
Just the Eagles and Broncos and Ravens being on the second half of your schedule alone. Man, I would not. I'm going to tell you this, Sean, and you know how I feel about this team. That Broncos team is not a team I would want to play this upcoming season. I'm good.
That Broncos team, I'm telling you right now, I'm a gambling junkie.
Aaron Rodgers is a douchebag.
Throw some money on the Broncos winning the AFC West. I don't know if they can do it, but
I said they would on a Hell's Hall hangover.
That's a hell of a bet, man. Dude, the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Chargers are all making the play. The Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs are all making the playoffs. They're all going to beat the shit out of each other.
And the Raiders are going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders aren't going to be no slouch.
I think they will, man.
Because Pete Carroll runs a pretty stout
who was talking about that?
Her operation.
Vizzo Joe. Really quick, man. Eagles, the Giants, whatever. Vikings, Lions, Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. Man, that's brutal. That's brutal. That's a murderer's row. Nothing's gonna get any better when we once again, everybody.
Ravens, Broncos, Eagles, man. That's just and the Lions.
It's brutal, dude. It is really brutal.
I mean, they finished their season Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. God, that's rough, dude.
Hope they don't need a playoff spot.
Packers might miss the playoffs, man.
That's why I got them at 6 and 11.
Very real.
All right.
Very real possibility. All right, here we go. I have them winning at the Vikings, losing to the Lions.
Yep.
I'll take them to beat the Cowboys because I just think that Cowboys team is nasty. I have them losing to the Ravens, obviously. So 2-2.
Yeah, that's the Raiders.
Oh, Raiders?
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, I don't
know. You have 3-1? I have them losing to the Raiders. I took that last night. I'm going to stick with it.
I'll give them 3-1, but I'm going to say they lose to the Commanders, man. I'm going to say 3-2.
Here, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to take them to win because of one reason. This is going to be a game that Caleb Williams circles on the calendar. This is going to be a game that Caleb Williams is going to get up for.
I would imagine the whole team will, Sean. They were all pretty pissed off about that.
This is why I think the Bears are going to take that game. And I am with you at 2-2, my friend, and going into the bye, but I do have them beating the Commanders and then beating the New Orleans Saints.
Pizzo Joe, I want to say this, man. I want to say this. I take this out of context. I think the Panthers will be a substantially better team than they were last season. Now, I don't think that means they're going to be like a good football team by any measure, but they're not going to be complete and total ass like they were last year. I think Bryce Young might actually play some decent football this upcoming season. But again, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just hammer that division.
Is this one easier for you to see?
No, the other one was. Yeah, this one was. So I got them at 3-1 after the Raiders, but losing to the Commanders 3-2. I have them against the Saints, so 4-2. Ravens beat them 4-3. Bengals beat them.
I have them at 4-3 right now too.
So I'm going to say 4-4 after 8 weeks. After 8 games,
I have them beating the Bengals. I called it last night. I said 48-45. The Bears.
I'll have them beating the Giants. I'll tell you what, man. The Bears' offensive line is going to have a real test when they play this Giants football team.
Oh, they will.
But I'm going to say 5-4 after the Giants. I think I had them losing. I had the Vikings beating the Bears in that game. So
I do too.
So I have to say 5-5. Man, I don't like the Steelers.
I drink whiskey. I drink whiskey tea.
Let's say they beat the Steelers 6-5, lose to the Eagles 6-6.
I have them at 6-5 right now.
I had them losing to the Packers in Green Bay 6-7.
I have them sweeping the Packers, so I have them at 7-5. Have them beating the Browns. That's 8-5. Beating the Packers 9-5.
Wait, hold on. Let me think here.
No, go ahead. I'm just going to. I did this yesterday.
5-5, 5-6, 5-7, 5-8, 6-8, 7-8, 8-8. I'm gonna say the Bears go 9-8, man. I like the Bears to have 9 wins.
So we're really close.
I'm gonna say 9-8, and I'm gonna say this, man. If they can squeak out Ravens or that Bengals game, they can win 10 games. Looking at this schedule, but I feel very differently about the Lions and the Vikings and the Cowboys than a lot of people feel, man. I think the Packers are going to be the toughest team the Bears play in this division, man. I really do. I don't like.
Hey, T. Let me say this to you. Let me say, and this is the only reason why I'm picking the Bears to beat the Bengals. There's games you're supposed to win, games you're supposed to lose, you get upsets. It happens all the time. The Bengals defense was an open wound. They didn't do anything this offseason to correct that. And I think coming into week 8, week 9 is when this offensive system starts to click for the Chicago Bears. And you have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Gesicki, Joe Burrow, Chase Brown on one side. You're going to have DeAndre Swift, Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, and DJ Moore on the other side. You're set for an offensive explosion. If I had to put the two defenses together, the Bears on paper have a better defense. It's not even close. Between the Bears and the Bengals, you have the better defense. And I think if you need a stop somewhere, I think the Bears secondary can come up with one. Maybe the defensive front can come up with one, opposed to when you're looking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who you counting on that defense to make a stop, come up with a big play, stop one of these Bears prolific playmakers that they have on the offensive side of the ball. I didn't disrespect the offense of this Bengals. I said a 48-45 shootout. I think it's going to be one of the highest scoring games for the Bears, unless somehow the Bengals defense improved. And, going down the stretch last year, they gave up 24, 27, 27. Then they played the Browns. They gave up 6 because the Browns had no quarterback. And then, they had what they always have in the final game of the season with the Bengals
Well,
and there's was,
even and listen, man, if there's a team, I like the Bengals. I love Joe Burrow. I always have. I loved him since the LSU days. If there's a team that right now, like we're not even into, we just finished rookie mini camp. If there's a team that has more problems than any other right now, it's the fucking Bengals, man. Trey
yeah,
Hendrickson still hasn't decided he's going to participate for this football team. They haven't been able to move him, and they've been trying for over a year. And then the guy on the other side, or potentially Trey Hendrickson's replacement, won't participate in camp.
yeah,
Jamar Stewart has not participated with this team. And to me, Sean, I thought they didn't reach, but they risk on drafting Shamar Stewart. I think he's the biggest.
sure.
We've said it on this channel plenty. He's the biggest boomer bust player in this draft, and he's a guy who's gonna need a fucking offseason, man. This is a player who needs to participate now to be potentially a star in the NFL, and he's not there. He's there. He's watching from the damn sideline. But guys, it's not just the fact that this guy's losing the ability to go out there and practice and play in front of his coaches a little bit. He's losing a lot. I mean, this is like one of the biggest, the mental aspect to this, the getting out there, like you're not even throwing pads on, but the learning aspect to this, like why they have learning your coaches, seeing what your potential is, where you're strong, where you're weak. Like this is your combine for your coaches, your future NFL coaches, not for all of the coaches and GMs in the league, but for the guys who drafted you. This is what they're trying to see, what you have, what your abilities are, where your weaknesses are, how you can get better. This guy's not even, and it's a distraction, man. It's a distraction. Other rookies, other undrafted free agents have to listen to this. All the media's, after every practice they have, the media is standing there like, what's going on with Shamar? What's the deal with Shamar? Shamar, you going to play? What's going on, Shamar? What's the deal with the gear? Did you get your guaranteed money? Have they changed your contract? So like everybody else is like, man, fuck this guy. You know what I mean? It's just a
and it,
bad impression, man. It leaves
and,
it
and
leaves a bad taste in people's mouth.
And T, I'm not saying, I just want to answer this. I'm not saying that the Bears are going to be a prolific offense, but when you talk about a high powered offense in a
They should
game,
be. They should be.
they have the weapons to. And T, just open your mind here. This is a defense that didn't improve, could lose Trey Hendrickson. They give up 27 points to the who? The Tennessee Titans. They give up 24 points to the who? The Carolina Panthers last year. They gave up 40 points in 5 games last year. They gave up over 38 points in 7 games last year. This defense did not get better. And if you want to disrespect Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, and Luther Burden and say Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, I mean, this defense of the Cincinnati Bengals is not going to have answers for the Chicago Bears. They're not going to have answers for a lot of the offenses this year. This defense, it's just not good. I don't know.
Well, and more important, like we can talk about all the weapons the Bears have, but let's put that aside. When Caleb Williams in his rookie year, under duress, played bad secondaries like the Jacksonville Jaguars, and who was the other team that he just torched that had a tremendously bad secondary, Sean?
Oh, the Lions,
No, I think it was the
the Vikings.
I think it was the Colts that he ended up throwing a couple of touchdowns.
Oh,
against.
he did against the Colts
But
as well.
when
Yes.
when he played bad secondaries, he really exploited them, man. I mean, that's where he thrived. He threw, I think, 300 plus yards and 4 touchdowns against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had one of the lowest ranked secondaries in the NFL. This Bengals secondary isn't very good, and it didn't get drastically better over this offseason. So
No, it
I
really
I
did.
like the Bengals to beat the Bears, but I'm with you, man. The Bengals will always be held back by the fact that they're paying so much on offense they can't really address their defense. They can't afford to. So
Yeah, and it was the Colts,
and
362,
Sean,
2 touchdowns.
like just on a broader spectrum, like you watch a team like the Bills, and like you watch a team like their approach this offseason. They know they have Josh Allen. Doesn't really matter who he's throwing the ball to. He's going to make things work. They're going to score a lot of points. And they knew that their defense was their weakness. So what the hell did that team do all offseason? They focused on their
Yep.
defense and they drafted good players and they signed good players in free agency. And what did the Bengals do to address their defense? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
So
You want to hear an interesting fact that I saw today, because I automatically 272 NFL games get released. So what does Sean do? Go to the sports book. What do we got? There's one team in the NFL that's favored to win every single game on their schedule this year. Do you know which team that is? It's not the Lions, T.
The Eagles?
No, it's not even the Eagles.
The Bills?
It is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are the
I
only team
could see that. I could see the Eagles. I could see the Eagles losing maybe one game this year, man.
You know what? I'm gonna look at this Eagles schedule really quick. I didn't get a chance.
They got tremendously better through this draft, which is frightening.
Oh, I agree 100%.
They were already really fucking good. Yeah, their draft was just tremendous. Well, real quick, Sean, before we dive into the Eagles schedule, I have the Lions winning the division at 10-7. I have the Bears and Packers tied just behind them at 9. No, you're good. Just behind them at 9-8. And I have the Vikings behind, finishing last in this division at 8-9. So I do have this division still being a very competitive division and a pretty good win total overall between the four teams. But I think the Bears take a step forward and the other three take a step back. That's what I think. And sure, that's coming from a Bears fan, but there is reason and evidence to believe that that's a possibility.
Yeah, you know why the Eagles aren't favored to win every game? Because they play at the Chiefs, and I guarantee they're not. They're probably a 1-point underdog in that game. You know what? I'm gonna look that up.
I don't know. They just hammered the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, man. I think the Chiefs regress for sure. I think the Chiefs are not the same team as they were 2 years ago.
I think definitely.
That was. I say that though, and then they make it to the Super Bowl, and it's
every year. Every year.
Stories.
I thought that last year.
Still Andy Reid coaching that football team.
I'm hoping to God that Rashee Rice turns back and he's okay. And a little fantasy note for everybody on Rashee Rice, because I did some looking into Mr. Rice.
Sean's looking into things.
Yeah, his court case is not even up. It's not on the top of a pile. It's collecting dust somewhere. They're currently saying right now that this guy may not miss. This could be another year before.
No, not that. I don't expect anything to happen to Rashee Rice, to be honest with you, man. Did you see? I don't remember who it was. There's a player in the NFL that's like trying to push the narrative that who is that guy on the Raiders that killed somebody?
Oh, the wide receiver.
Yeah,
Ruggs.
Ruggs.
Yeah.
There's a player in the NFL that's like pushing some narrative that he's going to make it back to the NFL. Which
he has stayed in contact. He has stayed in contact with somebody in the NFL. I can't remember who it was. I just read this the other day, actually. And he has been training while he's in prison. He's going to get out, and he's still going to be like 27, 28 years old. And they said that he is 100% going to try and make a comeback to the NFL.
Josh Jacobs. That's who this is.
Josh Jacobs.
His former teammate, yeah. Wow. No, what I said wow to is T said, well, he says the Eagles are cheating. I don't know if he's just being sarcastic because they do such a good job at treating their offseason. Yeah, they drafted Jahad Campbell with the 31st pick in the draft. That's ridiculous. And then they got Ty Robinson. They got a lot of good players in the draft. But he says, I believe the Chiefs are done, man.
Ooh.
I don't know about
really?
That. I mean, as long as Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid are together, I'm never gonna say done, man. I can't bring myself to do that. like I said early on last year, I was telling everybody this Chiefs team does not look the same. They're just not the same. They won the Super Bowl. So I'm not doing that
Dude,
anymore.
here,
Learned my lesson there.
if I could throw this out there, I think the Chiefs have retooled, man. They're going to get Rice back.
I think
Xavier Worthy was incredible
my
down the
my
stretch.
fantasy sleeper for all those. So T, I don't know if you. T's the only one with us, I think, anymore. But T, I don't know if you what or if you're a fantasy guy. Brashard Smith, man, is
Richard
my
Smith.
sleeper. I mean,
Yep.
they're gonna. Andy Reid's gonna get that guy the ball in space.
Not only that, dude, Jalen Royals is there, and Jalen Royals is a playmaker. Dude, this offense is retooled, and Pat Mahomes has his best arsenal of weapons. When you look at Rice, Worthy, Royals, Smith, you still got Pacheco, you still have Kelsey, you still have Noah Gray, you still have a good offensive line. I don't know that the Chiefs are going anywhere. I don't know that they're going to take a step
And
back.
they drafted an offensive lineman with the
They did.
32nd.
They
Who
did.
was it?
It
Ursary?
was. I think it was Ursary. It was a really good one. I'll tell you 1 second.
I know they wanted Connerly, and that's where everybody was it. It wasn't Connerly. Connerly was already gone.
They picked Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons, yeah, they got a left tackle. Yeah.
They picked up Jalen
Yes,
Royals.
T says, yeah, the Eagles are so good. Yeah, it's really. I mean, hats off to the people running that organization, man. They just find a way. They got Cooper DeJean last year, the 40th pick in the draft, and they got Jahad Campbell with the 31st pick in the draft this year. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
The rich get richer because I mean that draft was just you go up and down it and you're just like, wow, dude. I mean, from Campbell, they got Mubaka. They wound up getting
Makuba or Mubaka?
Say it again. Makuba. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
A starting safety. They just
and then they wind up getting Brashard Smith in the 7th round, which I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of.
Oh, you're talking about the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs. Or the. Oh, sorry. Oh God. I did just screw that up. I'm sorry.
The Eagles, I think, with their third round.
I flipped it on you in the middle. I fucked that up. Sorry, guys.
No worries, man. But I think the Eagles got with their third round. I think they got Ty Robinson, didn't they? The big defensive tackle.
The Eagles, yes, they did.
Yeah,
they did. They got Ty Robinson out of Nebraska,
which they didn't need another good tackle, man. And then they got Hinton, who was Miles Hinton, who was an offensive tackle the Bears were visiting with over the offseason. Yeah. I mean, these guys.
And they drafted Cameron Williams, the tackle out of Texas.
Yeah, these guys just killed it again, man.
But again, this is how the good stay great, you know. And this is something that Ryan Poles is learning on the job, and that's okay. You know, I wasn't okay with it because I didn't see the vision. But you know, I want to give you my take, Brandon, really quick, and you know, we can talk about this for a second because I know you guys disagree with me, but I wrote this and I wanted to say this, and I saved this for when the Bears schedule came out because I want to give my honest and grounded take and just say, am I not wrong to be weary? For the interior line, Tootie Elite is 32, coming off a pectoral injury. He has durable historically, but his age plus deep playoff runs have added wear. Jonah Jackson is a clear upgrade from Nate Davis, but he's more solid than special. I'm grading him similar to Braxton Jones, a C+ to B-, to be fair. And I know we don't agree on this, but I still believe that there's a lot to be proven. I think the line is kind of razor thin at depth. You got Kramer, Bates, Amadaji, Newman. You got Trapilo. You got a bunch of unproven assets. Coaching staff growing pains. The Bears have one of the best offensive play callers in the league now on the coaching staff. My question is, will it translate to becoming an elite head coach into the NFL? Ben Johnson's a bright offensive mind, but I said this a little bit ago, the jump from OC to head coach is no small leap. Leadership, in-game decisions, managing a whole team. This is all new territory for him. The install of a new offense, a system that always takes time, even for top tier talents, a second year quarterback, which is in a new system, a new line that's together that can sometimes be a cocktail that just needs to settle. I said, for me, the big picture, I'm okay with the optimism, but blind help helps no one. This team has, to me, no proven depth, a brand new staff, a long history of heartbreak. I'm not saying don't believe. I'm just saying don't crown them in May. Celebrate the moves, but fasten your seatbelt because I believe this is going to be a bumpy ride, especially to start the season. I don't know what you think about
I
that.
think we lost Sean for a sec there.
What's that?
Sean, you were on a roll. You cut out.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, no. When did I cut out?
After bumpy ride. I will say this, man.
That was it. That was it.
I said it on the household hangover. I know you were sick. The ifs have become less iffy for me, like the Trapilos and the Luke Newmans, the young guys, man, and and I read an article today about why the Bears, Brad Biggs believes the Bears probably won't exercise the option of adding a veteran defensive edge rusher because he thinks that the Bears very much want to see what they have in Austin Booker. They very much want him to take a lot more snaps than he did last year. He only took somewhere in the 300s or 200s, I think, even. And I think they finally have coaches, Sean, which we're just not used to. So we say,
Right.
like, we'll see what this guy can be. We'll see what that guy can be. Well, more importantly, we'll see what the coaches can make of them. And a guy like Dan Rocher can make Trapilo a better player and Luke Newman a better player. And a guy like Al Harris can make Isaiah Frazier a starting caliber defensive back in the NFL, just like he did to those guys in Dallas. And an Antoine Randall can make Luther Burden a Jamison Williams, you know what I mean, 1,000-yard receiver. I have faith that the guys who are developing the Bears, young talent, know what the hell they're doing. And that's just not Sean, name a good developmental coach from last year's staff.
There wasn't one.
No? And I mean, you've just added a bunch of guys who are pretty well known for this, right? Eric Bieniemy develops young running backs. He gets the most out of them. He exploits their strengths. He coached the likes of Adrian Peterson, Jamal Charles, Kareem Hunt. Antoine Randall got the best out of Jamison Williams after really, I mean, the guy's an asshole. I mean, there's no other way to say it. He is. I mean,
hey, hold that thought, Brandon.
First, nice. Get upfield. Get upfield. Put your eyes up. The Bears ain't got shit to do with you. Pick your fucking eyes up. Hit. Get upfield. Why are you touching the fucking cones? Cones are not moving. Don't touch the cones.
He's going to be awesome. Go ahead. You brought him up, so I figured I'd just throw that on really quick.
The cones are not moving. Yeah.
Don't touch the fucking cones.
I think this coaching staff is going to make these young players better players, Sean. And we're just not, we write that off because we're so jaded, and we should be. Like, we'd never had the guys on the coaching staff. Like when you saw Austin Booker get here last year, I'll be honest with you, man. He was a day 3 pick. I liked Austin Booker in Kansas. I didn't think he was going to turn into a game-wrecking NFL pro because I just don't think the Bears had the guys to do it. They just don't. They didn't have coaches that could make better players out of the players they drafted who aren't good enough. You know what I mean? And that's the difference to me this year is you look at a guy like Isaac Trapilo and it says like in his draft grades, like, oh, not a starting left tackle in the NFL. But it's like, well, who's going to coach him? Dan Rocher, a guy with 40 plus years experience. You look at a Luther Burden, it's like, well, he's got attitude problems. And we know how the Bears are with players like those. They fail miserably. Those guys eventually just leave after their careers plateau here. But now you got a Randall who's going to get that kid's head straight. He's going to get the best out of him, and he's going to put him in Ben Johnson's. Most importantly, Ben Johnson's going to put all these guys in game-winning situations. He's going to get them in, and he's going to get these pass catchers open. He schemes guys open.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we finally have coaches, Sean, like that guy right there who's yelling at those dudes, who's telling them, don't touch the fucking cones. Like you finally got coaches And that's the difference in holding players accountable, like the Bears did not do last year, man. Is you have guys who are going to make pros out of these young dudes.
I have a
Mm.
quick question for you, T. You said Ben has a huge ego, guys, and he's still going to call so much stuff that is going to piss you guys off. Just watch. I just want to ask you, T, how much stuff did he call that pissed you off in Detroit when you were scoring 30,
He
40
made a
points?
really bad call in that game against the Eagles, or
He,
game
he,
against the Commanders. I'll say that he
he,
did.
he, he, every coach is going to learn from their mistakes. I'm glad he made that mistake in Detroit, not Chicago.
Ah, yeah, but
But
I
that's
mean,
just what I'm
the
saying.
good and the bad comes with the good because Ben Johnson's a guy who's trying to innovate. He's trying new things. And
Yeah.
you can
Yes.
only see it so much in practice. You got to do these things on the field, man. But let's say this, T, and you have to agree with this. Your team's been in the NFC Championship in the last 2 years. The guy does more good than bad. There's no doubt about that. I mean, if you're talking about a game of chess between coordinators, Ben Johnson got the best of everybody.
Hey,
I
really
don't think
quick,
there was a single defensive coordinator that was like, man, I bested Ben Johnson after that game.
T, I'm going to shoot this down right now. This is from Recap earlier today.
The biggest difference that I'm seeing right now is the mixture of Ben and everybody that he brought with him, and the way that they are teaching us what we are responsible for on every play. I think has been the biggest difference. He puts a lot of the focus, not necessarily on the defense, but what is our job on the play and how perfect can we do that job each and every play, and just very detail oriented. Everything, all the dots connect, everything makes sense. And he's expecting and demanding, maybe not greatness, but for you to at least be striving or to look like you're striving for that. So
that kind of dispels what you just wrote there. It kind of does seem like he's teaching everyone that they have to be responsible, know their job, and how to do their job correctly.
Bizzle Joe says T is just trying to cope with losing him. T says he's a snake. Man, dude, Detroit. You know what? I'm going to say this, T. Most organizations who lose a guy who did right by them wish him the best.
Yeah.
And this Lions fan base has just dogged Ben Johnson. I mean, everything that he did for their organization was just negated by his decision to take a better opportunity elsewhere, and probably because it was within the division. But I mean, come on, man. This guy is going to do what's best for him and his family. He did what was best for your organization already, and he probably taught Dan Campbell a lot, which I read by the way, T, see if you can confirm this for me. I read that John Horton's not going to be calling plays for the Lions because he didn't do so in Denver. Sean Payton was obviously the play caller there. Are we going to see Dan Campbell taking the play calling back? And if so, how much influence did Ben Johnson have over Dan Campbell when he resumes play calling, man? I mean, Ben Johnson didn't just create success, he left it there. I firmly believe that. My biggest issue, and you can hate on him all you want, but he got the best out of Jared Goff, man, who I think is like a slightly above average quarterback in the NFL.
Well, you want to know,
it's a system guy.
Well, with the Lions, and this is funny to me because I mean, I'm a Jayhawk and I've been dealing with this for 20 plus years with Illinois fans because Bill Self left Illinois and, we hate Kansas because they stole our coach. No, he left for a better opportunity. He went to a premier program in the country.
Blue.
There's no different here. And, the one thing that the Lions fans and this fan base are missing is Ben Johnson himself and Dan Campbell, and you can research it and find it. Ben Johnson went to ownership. He went to Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell gave him his blessing. Dan Campbell said it was time. It's time for you to move on and do your thing. Management, ownership gave their blessing and said, Ben, move on. It's time. He stayed the extra year to hone over his craft.
Yeah, which most coaches won't do.
Right.
Nah, I don't want to be a head coach. I'll stick around and be paid less. My wife's probably going to be okay. I'm not going to get yelled at all for that decision when I go home. You did what? I turned down an extra 15 mil. Yeah.
The Lions or the Rams wanted to get rid of him so bad they traded him. And what happened as soon as they traded Jared Goff? What did they get? A ring, right? They traded for a better quarterback. Jared Goff, unfortunately, as much as I do like the Lions, is going to always be your detriment and your downfall.
Well, and I'm not saying, I didn't say he's a
I don't
bad
think he's a
quarterback.
bad quarterback.
This is what I think. I think he's a system quarterback. I
He
think
is
he's a
very
play
much.
under center. He's a get rid of the ball quick, and he's not mobile. And here's my thing, T. Whose system is he in now? My concern for Jared Goff and any system quarterback is what system were you placed in? Because there's a lot of quarterbacks that might have succeeded in the NFL if they were just drafted to the right place. Like Sean alluded to earlier, Justin Fields failed because he came to a system that sucked. It was broken. And Justin Fields proved to the world that he might be the best athlete on any field for any NFL team, and they didn't care. It wasn't about let's exploit this. Let's use this guy's strengths. He can keep a defense on their heels. Let's get him out. Let's design some runs for him. No, it was let's try to make this guy a pocket passer that plays under center most of the time.
Yeah, that was
So
just
system quarterbacks can be good, and Jared Goff has been, and he was, but he was
really good.
under Ben Johnson. And yes, he was good in LA. He had some good seasons, but whose system was he in there? I mean, to go from Sean McVay to Ben Johnson doesn't make you a Hall of Fame quarterback. It means that you were fortunate enough in your career to play under two of the best offensive minds in the game. If Jared Goff goes to the Niners next and plays for Kyle Shanahan, I have no doubt that he'll play some good football. My question, though, is with John Horton, the guy who just became your new offensive coordinator, who was a former coach in the Denver Broncos, where Sean Payton ran the system. It was Sean Payton's system, and John Horton's not bringing that here. Because
No.
I was informed on one of these shows a couple weeks ago that it sounds like Dan Campbell is going to resume the play calling. He's going to take it back.
Oh, really?
So what system is this guy going to be in now? Is it going to be as successful as the last two? And is it going to be enough for him to thrive? And are you going to start to look at the contract that Jared Goff received a couple years ago and think, God, that maybe Ben Johnson should have been paid that fucking money instead of Jared Goff? You know what I mean? Like my concern is not can Jared Goff succeed? It's can he succeed in a system that's not catered to him? And I don't know what system he's going to play. I don't know what Dan Campbell's going to do with him. And I don't. It's hard for me. Listen, I've said this before, Sean. It's hard for me to believe that he does not regress in some way, shape, or form without one of the best play callers in the league. I have
So
not ever heard anyone say that Dan Campbell is one of the best play callers in the NFL. I have heard a lot of people say Dan Campbell is a fucking leader of men. He's a dude who holds you accountable. He's that dude. He's the boss. He commands respect when he walks in the room. Nobody has ever said anything to me about Dan Campbell
Bruce,
being one of the better play callers in the NFL.
you want to know? I just looked it up, and this was from February 17th of 2025. It says John Morton didn't hesitate in confirming that he will be the team's play caller in 2025. Morton revealed that during a news conference on Fox 2 that aired on Monday. There was speculation as to whether it would be him or head coach Dan Campbell that would take the
So let's take that in account. John Horton's going to call the plays. He did this once before in 2017. He was the play caller for the Arizona Cardinals. He won 3 football games. 3. And immediately following his departure, they got better. So, and John Horton had a system in which his quarterback failed in Arizona. So that if I'm a Lions fan, man, and I'm not saying I'm taking myself out of the Bears fan shoes here and put myself in your shoes, I'm concerned about this. I'm 100% concerned about this. I'm not just going to believe that. I'm not just going to be spoon fed that this idea that the Lions aren't going to miss a beat and everybody's going to be okay and that nothing's going to change. I don't know who John Horton is, but I know this. After 2017, no organization that hired this guy gave him the ability to call plays because they probably saw something they didn't like. I don't know.
And T, I want to get back to
The offensive coordinator hiring
hold
the
on.
the
First off,
hiring of John Horton to me was a head scratcher,
T,
man, to
I'm
begin
going to give
with.
you this. And no, no,
Oh, you got Sean on the sound
yeah,
effects. Thanks,
yeah,
T. Shoot
no
you, James.
chance,
You
no
rattled
chance.
this show.
No
Now we
chance.
appreciate the conversation, T. And the Lions are a good football team, and Dan Campbell's a good head coach. I
And
have
T,
my reservations about
I
the
want to
fact
say,
that
I want
John
to answer
Horton's
this question
calling
here
plays.
too. If you guys beat us with Ben as the head coach of the Bears, shouldn't you guys? Because going into the season, you're the better team. Better teams are supposed to be superior to the teams that aren't as good as them. It'll be more to me on how the game looked. If the Bears go into Detroit in week 2 and lose 27-24 in an all-out slugfest, I'm not going to be too pissed off that we lost to the Detroit Lions. I'm going to say the Bears are getting there. That's what I'm going to say because we just went toe to toe with one of the best teams in our conference. Hands down.
In regards to Jared Goff being better than Caleb Williams, you can say that Jared Goff has done more in his tenure as an NFL quarterback, but the verdict's not out on Caleb Williams. I don't think it's fair. Caleb Williams could be the best quarterback in the NFL. We don't know it yet. I'm pretty sure he's not like total ass.
That's true, Vizzo. Joe brings up a good point, man. It took the Eagles over a year to regroup after losing both coordinators, and they had a better roster. And T, I can't have it both ways because the Bears are a developing team. I just told you this is going to be a bumpy ride in 2025. I'm not going in here looking at the Bears tied with the Lions with the second hardest schedule in the entire NFL and saying the Bears are going to be this world beater. Me sitting here in May saying they're
Yeah,
going to
that
have
Lions schedule is also rough, man.
it's
That's
brutal.
rough.
It's
It's a rough
brutal, dude.
schedule, and that's the price you pay for being the division winner
Be
of the
good,
year prior. Is you're
and I think
gonna
they can
face,
handle the schedule.
but
I'm not gonna rip the Lions. I think the Lions are a really good team, and I think they're gonna win the division. I just said this. You guys are a superior team in the division. This will be 3 division titles in a row, which means you're the best team in the division continuously. I think that's coming to an end because I think the Bears are going to show you at some point during the season that they have arrived.
I'm not even ready to say. But I want to ask you this, T. I want to ask you this. How did you feel as a Lions fan when they hired John Horton as their offensive coordinator? There was a lot of names out there, man. There was a lot of guys who were itching for offensive coordinator promotions. I thought Randall L., the wide receiver coach on the Detroit Lions, was probably ready to take that step and be a play caller for an
Yeah.
NFL team. I mean, he's worked under Ben Johnson for a few years here now. He's gotten the best out of all the receivers he's coached. I thought they should have hired internally. They decided to go with this guy who was just working for Sean Payton and really not doing shit. I mean, holding a clipboard,
Yeah.
dude. So I don't know. If I'm the Lions fan, I would have been a little hesitant about celebrating that decision, that hire for John Horton. I don't know. I don't know what is the system John Horton runs. We haven't seen it since 2017 when he was the Cardinals coach and he went Cardinals play caller and he failed miserably. So you just have to wonder these things, man. It's not so much about losing Ben Johnson as it is about who the hell did you just replace him with? Who is this guy? Who is he? I don't know. I didn't hear his name. Did you, Sean? I'm being serious. We
No.
read, we live and breathe this stuff, and it sounds like you do too, T. You knew who the names were when the season ended, and you saw the potential candidates for this position or that position, and I didn't hear that guy's name.
I
It came
honestly
out of the
thought
fucking blue. Like when I read it, I was like,
here, T, there's my way too early power rankings at the bottom. And I probably have the Vikings too high, but I can tell you this right now. You know who's number 2 behind the Eagles? The Detroit Lions. So no, I don't expect the Bears. I expect the Bears to be competitive. And
I think the Buccaneers are a better team than the Lions this year. I do. I'm
Really?
gonna say the Buccaneers finished second in the NFC, man.
Really? All right.
I mean, look at that division. You're playing 6 games against.
T, we're gonna have to get you on the show, man. We're Bears Lions preview You got to come on the show, dude. We got to break it down. We got to
Definitely.
break it down
For
together.
one of these games this season where the Bears are going to play the Lions, you should definitely have a guest appearance here because these conversations are fun, man. And I hope you never feel like we're just sitting because I don't feel like I ever reflect any bias in these conversations, Sean. I
Why
try to
was he
stay grounded,
disrespectful?
and I'm not sitting here. What?
Yeah. What happened?
I was disrespectful. I didn't mean to be disrespectful, man. I apologize. Like I was just stating that I don't feel like I feel like I'm being grounded in what I'm saying. I don't think I've called the Lions a bad foot. We just did our predictions. I have them winning the division.
Me too. I do
I
too.
I don't think I'm respecting them. He says I love it. The Bucks. Yeah, I like the Bucks, man. I like Baker Mayfield a lot. I think Baker Mayfield's on the come up. I do. And I think the Buccaneers team is just in it. I mean, look at that division, dude. Just look at that division. I mean, you're playing the Panthers and the Saints twice. I mean, is that 4 wins? Is that 4 wins? The Bucks playing the Panthers and the Saints twice. Is that 4 wins right there? And then the Falcons. I might give them 2 more wins there. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Which team? Which team?
The Buccaneers. The division is just. I don't know, man.
Let me look at the Bucs schedule.
Well, we know they play the Vikings, right? We saw that. Or no, they play the Lions, right? They play the Lions.
Play the Lions in week 3 or 4.
Okay, so we'll find out early how that goes. We'll see what happens
All right,
there.
here we go. We got the Lions. I mean the Bucks. The Bucks will open up against the Falcons. Then
I like the Bucks in that game.
Then they will play the Texans in Houston.
That's tough. I think the Texans got substantially better in the offseason.
Yep. And then they play the Jets in Tampa.
I'll take the Bucks all day in that game. So I'll give them 2-1 to start.
Then the Eagles travel to Tampa Bay.
I'll give the Eagles that game 2-2.
Then the Bucks travel to Seattle.
I'll give that to the Bucks.
Then the Bucks and the Niners in Tampa Bay.
I'll give that to the Bucks. I think this Niners team is the window's closed. I really do. Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, man, but you can only do this for so long. You can only keep going to Super Bowls and losing for so long.
October 20th. It's a night game. That might be a Thursday, actually. Oh no, 8 days. 8 days in between. It's a 6 o'clock game. Is that a Saturday or something? What the fuck is October 20th? Hold on 1 second here.
It's nothing. It's nothing in regards to like any significance.
Oh, it's Monday night. There's a Monday night doubleheader.
Oh, it's 2 games.
Yeah,
and
so
they're in Detroit.
They're in Detroit for Monday Night Football.
Okay, so I probably like the Lions there, but I still think I have the Bucks here at 4-3.
Yep, and then the Bucks play. Then it gets. Oh God, it does not get any easier. It does for 2 weeks. They got the Saints in New Orleans, and then the Patriots in Tampa.
Okay, so I'll give them 6-3.
Then they travel to Buffalo.
6-4.
And wow, this is going to be a fun one. The Bucks and the Rams, dude, on the 23rd.
I'll give them 7-4. I think they're better in the football team than the Rams.
That's in LA. That's in LA too.
I'll take the Bucks.
Across country. Man, Seattle or the Bucks get screwed, dude. They got to.
Yeah, but you haven't mentioned any teams so they finished with their division.
Well, here comes their division. They got the Cardinals. Then the Saints.
That's not their division, but so I'll say 8-4. I'll say 9-4.
Yeah, not the Cardinals. My bad. But then they got the Saints. Then they got the Falcons.
10-4.
They got the Panthers.
11-4.
Then they got the Dolphins in Miami.
I'll give them 12-4.
And they finish with the Panthers in Tampa Bay.
I love that schedule, dude.
It gets a little tricky in the middle there.
I think the Buccaneers, the Rams will be a tough game. They could be potentially. I don't know, man.
That's in LA.
I could see them winning 12 games,
screwed, dude. The Buccaneers really get screwed. They have to travel to LA, travel to Seattle, and then travel to where's the other West Coast team they have to go to? They got to travel across the country 3 times next year, dude. That sucks.
And
That sucks, dude.
they were what last year, Sean?
10-7.
Yeah, I think that improves based on
That
the schedule
offense
you
is
just
gonna
read to
be
me.
that offense is gonna be tough to stop, and that defense is improving, man.
Yeah, if
Elijah
Chris
Cansey is
Godwin's
a
so
beast.
yeah, think about this too. If Chris Godwin's healthy, you're looking at Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin, and Emeka Egbuka. I mean, that is
And you didn't
that
even
is.
mention Bucky Irvin and Rashard White, who
And I thought Otten was a serviceable tight. I put Otten somewhere in the top 15 in tight ends in the NFL. So I mean, I think, yeah, this is a damn good football team, dude.
trying to see.
And Baker Mayfield just keeps throwing 4,000 yards. I mean, I think he threw
Baker's
45.
a
He threw
stud.
4,500 yards last year, didn't he?
They did sign Anthony Walker, and they did bring in Hassan Reddick on the defensive side of the ball.
I don't know what that means. Hassan Reddick's a waste of fucking
Yeah,
space.
it's a 1-year deal.
Their defense is good though. They still have what's the Levante
They
David?
got
who's-
Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey up the middle, and that's fucking brutal, man.
Levante David is the
Levante David's still there.
he's a probably maybe a potential Hall of Famer when his career is all said and done, man. He's been one of the best for as long as he's
They
been good.
re-signed their entire roster, dude. I mean, they re-signed Banks, Brewer, David, Gaines, Godwin, Merriweather, Nelson, Shepard. I mean, they re-signed everybody.
They should. They should.
I like the Bucks, dude. I mean, I like the Bucks and the Rams, dude. I really do. I think
And here's another thing, T. If T's, I don't know if he got. I'm sorry, man, if you felt like I disrespect. I think he meant I disrespected the Lions, not him specifically. But the Buccaneers lost Liam Cohen, who was highly touted as one of the best offensive coordinators or play callers in the NFL. He went to Jacksonville, and they promoted their passing game coordinator, the guy who's worked under Liam Cohen for the last 2 years, Josh Grizzard.
yeah.
So like I like that decision more than John Horton. I'll be honest. And that's not me hating on the Lions. That's just from a guy who's been watching sports as long as I have, and I see the trend and how these things go. I like the guy who's been working in your organization, who's been the passing game coordinator, so he probably had a pretty big role under Liam Cohen, versus the guy who's just working for Sean Payton doing nothing, man. I don't know if he was a coordinator of the run game or passing game, but I still think Sean Payton's a guy who has a lot of control, man. If you're working on his staff, you're not doing too much, I don't think. I mean, obviously you're working with the players and the positional groups, but you're not really you don't have too much say in a playbook, I would imagine.
He was with the Lions in 2022, 9-8. Most of the offenses that he was on early in his career were no. He's been on a lot of bad offenses.
Who?
Johnny Morton. He's had some good ones, but 2002,
But what was his role?
he's had a whole bunch of different ones, man. He's been passing game
And
coordinator.
I'll say this, T, I don't love the Bears hired offensive coordinator either.
Declan Doyle.
The Bears hired Doyle from the same staff, and that was the one. That was the one coach that I was highly critical of when the Bears hired him. I was wondering what the hell is this guy bringing to the table? I mean, I don't understand. Based off his tenure, what are the Bears seeing in this guy to be an up? But again, he's going to work for Ben Johnson. What's he going to do?
Ooh, Howie asks, how would we rank the head coaches in our division? I'll tell you this, Kevin.
That's a brutal question.
It's Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, Dan Campbell, and Ben Johnson. And the only reason Ben Johnson's last for me is because he has never coached a game, so I have nothing.
I might put Dan Campbell first, just because I'm more of I like that kind of coach more. I like the Mike Vrabels, the Dan Campbell, like the kind of kick your ass into shape coaches more than the I'm a chess player and I'm just going to beat the guy across the field from me. You know what I mean? Like Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur are going to just outwit the defensive coordinators on the other side of the field, where Dan Campbell and a guy like Mike Vrabel, those guys, and Kevin O'Connell, man, is just another Kyle Shanahan.
I agree with this.
He's all of it. He's all
I
of it.
agree with Izzo Joe here, dude. Listening to Declan Doyle, he seems intelligent ahead of his years.
Well,
And
and
I'll tell
Declan
you,
Doyle got the same message, Sean, from Sean Payton. Sean Payton basically told that guy, "It's time for you to go do something more, man." But
and you want to know what?
I
He's
did
coming
say
from Sean
this.
Payton.
CT, I can prove that I was skeptical of us hiring a coach off the same staff that Morton came from, because I was wondering myself, if this guy was being groomed to be a potential offensive coordinator in the future, why didn't Sean Payton promote him when John Morton left?
That's a good question.
So, and I think Declan Doyle departed before John Horton did, but still, if Sean Payton thought I have this really young protege in my building who could potentially be one of these new innovative offensive minds in the NFL, why didn't Sean Payton promote this guy?
Let's
So
see.
I was critical of that hire. I really was.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think Declan's going to be involved. He's going to be the sponge. He's going to be over the ear, right behind the ear, like the gnat at the barbecue.
And you'll know because there'll be a
Yeah.
point where Ben Johnson trusts him enough to give him the play calling, because Ben Johnson wants to focus more on being a head coach. And
I'm gonna show you this.
I don't love when head coaches call plays, guys.
I'm
That's
going to
not
show you
something
this,
I'm crazy
Brandon.
about.
I finally got it.
Oh boy,
I ordered this.
Spider-Man.
I
Let's
ordered
do-
this 3 weeks before our live show because I wanted to wear it on the live show, and I freaking got it.
Sean's
Just
gonna
this
be
week.
running around his house like Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon.
Look at what other gift I got this week, dude. Tell me this ain't the baddest sports shirt in the fucking world, dude.
I can't see. Is that who is that?
That's Kyle Tucker. It's King Tuck.
King Tuck. Oh.
This thing
You
is
gotta
so
get it. You
sick.
gotta get an Imanaga Ace shirt.
Oh, that would be awesome. He
Yeah.
has an ace card like I have for Otani. They're badass cards, dude. They're
I
badass.
bet that's a
cards.
badass card. Uh-oh,
Hey
we can't-
T, you're a Cubs fan? Atta boy, I knew I liked you for some reason.
can't be a Detroit Tigers fan.
Although they're on fire, dude. The
They
Renaissance.
are.
of
I know,
Javi
and
Baez is
and
real.
Javi's killing it. Yeah.
Dude, it's real, man. Like,
Although they won recently, didn't they? Didn't they win just before the Cubs did?
oh, he said now switch to DC's. Yeah, this King Tuck shirt is climbed up to tops in my.
Who did the
sports
Lions
shirts.
hire as their defensive coordinator? I don't even know. Was that a guy from the staff already?
Ooh, I don't know who they did either.
He should be able to spit this at us real quick. It is Calvin Shepard. Oh, I do like this hire. I did like this hire, yeah. He joined Dan's initial staff as an outside linebackers coach in 2021. Yeah, he was promoted from the staff, but then he worked under Aaron Glenn. I like the Calvin Shepard hire. I'm gonna say Brian Flores, then Dennis Allen. The Packers is last. I like Calvin Shepard better than whoever the Packers
You don't
hired.
like? I think it's Jeff Bailey or Jeff Haley or
Not gonna work
it's
here
something
anymore.
like that. I don't know. It's Jeff Haley. I don't know. I the fact that it doesn't roll off the tongue means they probably don't have enough for upper echelon one.
Jeff Hafley.
Jeff Hafley.
He's
Yeah, you know what? Right there, the
he's-
fact that I
he's
can't remember him.
he's half the coordinator that Dennis Allen is. I'll say that.
Yeah, you know the Packers. I don't know, man. God, it's the third time I said their name today. Oh God, I don't know, man. Boston College is he the former head coach of Boston College?
Yeah,
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. Dude.
yeah, he was.
I remember hearing his name, but I couldn't even remember it. I thought it was Haley or Hafley or whatever.
Who did he replace? Because I remember the guy from last year was catching a lot of heat.
I don't remember. I just remember he got hired, and I didn't really pay too much attention to it.
Whoever the guy was from last year, man, was getting shit on. Like every time a Packers game came on, they were dogging on dude. I can't remember who he was.
Oh no, I'm getting. Would you like Buccaneers updates?
Oh, Sean's dying.
Oh, my daughter's upstairs. She came home sick from school today, so whatever I had on Monday, I passed along to her. Kind of feel terrible, but I probably got it from them to begin with. My
Oh,
wife,
he was the defensive coordinator last year. So the guy before that though was Joe Barry. That was the guy that
Joe Barry, yes,
used to catch all
Barry.
the
I thought
heat.
Joe Barry was there last year. He wasn't there last year.
It says 2021 to 2023, and it says
Huh?
it says Jeff Halfley since 2024 season.
Was he on the staff then? Did they just promoted him? No, because he was at Boston College.
Yeah.
Or when was he at Boston College?
I don't know. I don't care that much. I'm going to be honest. I can't bring myself to continue to search.
You know why we don't care? Because
yeah. Is there anything you want to say before we should hang this up, man? But
yeah, we should.
I do want to thank you, T. Thanks for hey, man. You were the guy in the chat,
man. Let's get you on. We'll do a fairly nice Chicago Bears Detroit Lions preview together.
And Vizzo Joe hanging through it all night, man. Thanks, guys. Howie our Bears. Thanks for joining late, man. We appreciate you. Joe Barry married into Rod Marinelli's daughter. He's a joke. Yeah, this is what I hear about this guy. Like, just nobody liked him.
Really?
Nobody. I don't like. I'm pretty sure there was some like reports that by the end of it, Matt LaFleur was like, "Get this fucking guy out of here, dude." Like,
That's great.
I'm pretty sure he was terminated. He did not like take a better position somewhere else. He was fired.
And Brandon, really quick, I think that right now we'll give it to Brian Flores, but we might be changing our mind on that. So as Dennis Allen,
yeah, Brian Flores is a pretty innovative defensive coordinator. He does it differently, man. He disguises pressure really
dial
well.
up the pressure.
Yeah, and he hides it. He makes you think that they're playing coverage when they're not. He makes you think that they're bringing everyone when they're not. He's really good at disguising blitzes. He's good at dropping guys into coverage when you don't expect. He's Flores knows what he's doing running the defense, man, for sure. I got to give him that. And it was a hell of a pairing to put Brian Flores with Kevin O'Connell. I think that's what made the magic happen last year, to be honest.
You ready?
Anything you want to get out there before we wrap up?
Shit, fuck Green Bay.
All right. Yeah. Let's go. That a boy. Awesome, Booker.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get Austin Booker on the show. I'm gonna find a way to Austin Booker and be like, dude, I'm a Jayhawk and you're a Bear. You're my favorite guy on the field. Come join the show.
Yeah. Come be on a ridiculous show. Come be on the bare minimum. He's gonna be like, yeah, that sounds enticing. Let me join that. Yeah.
Hey T, we really appreciate that, man. We love you, brother, and we'll see you back next week, man. Good luck for the Lions, unless they're playing the Bears, and I mean that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, thanks for bringing the heat tonight, man. Thanks for bringing the conversation, because that's when the direction I didn't expect it to, but I had fun.
Yeah,
we should do this more often. Yeah,
I had a blast.
Howie, our Bears, again, thanks for being there. Bruce, we saw you in the chat. Dustin came in early, guys, but again, he's got a baby, so I'm sure duty called. Sean, love you. Appreciate you for being here.
Bear down, everybody.
Thanks for doing the bare minimum 2 weeks in a row, man.
No problem.
Hopefully I can absolve you of your responsibilities after this week, man. But no, I had a good time, man, as always. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Please hit that like. Please hit that to subscribe. And guys, especially T, if you are a Cubs fan, don't forget about the Northside 9, noon on Saturday.
Absolutely.
4 stars picks back up. Sean, have a wonderful evening. Everybody in the chat, guys, be safe.
Bear down.
Have a good night. Bear down. T. Bear down, T.